Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It is almost October.
Yeah. Tonight was the harvest moon.
It was a full moon, right?
Yeah, it's the last super moon of the year, and I guess the moon, the full moon right before the autumnal equinox is the harvest moon.
Probably wondering why my palms are so much extra hairy than normal.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the reason.
Yeah, it's always it always is an odd night for what lycanthropes, is that the term for werewolves?
Werewolves.
Werewolves.
Werewolves. How to make something sound something that is scary and horrible into something adorable. Werewolves.
Yeah. I was always real scared of werewolves when I was a kid. I was like legitimately.
They're not real.
No. But I grew up in New Jersey in like the woods. Like it was a real rural community.
Perfect place for werewolves.
Well, yeah, the Pine Barrens, you know. So we had a neighbor, like the nearest neighbor was like a mile down the road, and he was a little older than me, and he told me that in our woods there was a cabin where werewolf, Dracula, and the Frankenstein lived. And
did they have a party?
I completely believed. I was like skeptical, but like,
how old are you? 23?
I was like, geez, I must have been 4 or 5.
That's definitely a good gullible age.
Yeah, I have real scattered memories of the whole thing. And it was also the year like the gypsy moths had devastated the countryside of New Jersey, and like the government was banned. It was, yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, anyway,
devastated the Jersey coast.
So it was
rocking sounds.
You know, actually, it does sound like a movie because they almost deforested the entire eastern seaboard, and then they just vanished. Like they left.
They're like, we're done. Our job's finished.
Probably. I
remember back home to Gypsy Mothland where we could.
They were big bugs. I remember my dad had like kerosene in a jar, and he'd like clip the bugs and put them in the kerosene. It was like
that they made the names of the bugs vaguely or just outright racist too.
Yeah, it was like super racist. And there was a big Roma population in that area too, which was probably even like more.
Did they say thinner? That movie Thinner, when the guy goes thinner.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, yeah.
You know, you're gonna talking about werewolves though. I feel like in the 80s there were a lot of scary werewolf stuff.
Yes.
I mean, going in with American Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah.
As funny, it's a funny movie, but it is frightening.
Oh yeah.
The wolf he turns into is like
horrifying.
A monstrosity. Yeah, just an outright, completely inhuman. Like I found that interesting. Like, yeah, he turns into like a dog. But it's like, no, it makes it scary because it's like he's completely inhuman and it's gigantic. And you only see like a little bit here and there. You know, it's like there's choice shots. But then there was like that movie Silver Bullet. Remember that movie?
I do, yeah.
In the wheelchair, and like the priest was like a werewolf.
Yeah. Man,
I could see how werewolves would be scary people.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. I think it's like elementary body horror. You know, like
because of the whole changing and morphing. I used to think of my hand. I used to look at my hand like in the movie when he's like, grows into like a foot. He's like, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I'm stretching my hand. and then what would you say is scarier though, werewolves or Draculas?
I think Draculas are scarier because like a werewolf, I'm reasonably confident that like you could pretend to throw something and the werewolf would perhaps
you just got to get in the right direction, you know. You got to make sure you have like a piece of meat or like a covered in peanut butter or something, like well I think there's a problem with vampires. My issue with them always been it's like power. Like, what are we talking here? Like, every time you deal with like someone making like a new vampire movie or new whatever,
Mhm.
like they're almost like godlike, and it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, some dude that like blood. They might be a little fast, or she might be a little faster or whatever. But they have like ones where it's like they can change their shape and
Yeah.
turn this, and they can control. You know, it's always these like ridiculous. Like the power sex on these are like they just
Oh
feel like
yeah.
rubber,
Right.
like Thanos level shit. It's like,
Yeah, that
dude,
is
she's a
true.
dude that drinks blood. That's why
Yeah.
my favorite vampire movie is the Nicolas Cage vampire movie.
Oh, Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
that's not. It's okay. It's not that great of a movie. It's an interesting movie.
It's a very interesting movie. That was really
It's
great.
a fucked up movie.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, like reasonably young. That's when Salem's
We
Lot.
did an
The
episode about it.
Yeah, but Vampire's Kiss was I like that, but that's not a great vampire movie per se. Um, Salem's Lot came out when I was a kid. I thought that was really scary.
Fight Night was a good one.
Fright Night was great. Um, yeah,
That
there
one
was
was
a
pretty scary.
yeah. I remember The Hunger came out and I kind of liked it. I was into like Bauhaus at the time and Bowie was in it and but it
I
wasn't
don't
like
think I ever seen that one. I
oh
don't.
really?
I didn't like. I like them to be a little more fun. I always found those vampire movies to be like a little too like boring.
Yeah,
And
that was
the ones where it's like they don't have sharp teeth, like they're
yeah.
vampires, they don't have sharp teeth. Like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she had like a necklace that had like a little knife on it, and she used that to like the whole thing was kind of fucked up.
I like
But
the Marcy Darcy was in Fright Night, the
oh,
neighbor.
was she?
Yeah, that's like her. She's like a lot younger than that, and she turns into like a vampire in it for a little bit, and
Oh
it's like
wow.
horrifying. Like you look up like her vampire from Fright Night, and it's like it's a pretty crazy looking. It's a pretty awesome makeup job. It's like one of the most
Huh.
horrifying vampires on screen.
Wow, okay, yeah. I don't remember that at all.
And she went on to run for governor in Arizona and claimed that she didn't lose. She went from that to something even scary.
Yeah, it's even scarier. Yeah. Well, okay. So anyway, it is the harvest moon tonight. Put on a little Neil Young to celebrate, as I am wont to do. But yeah, we're almost to October. That's crazy, and it's going to be werewolf and Dracula season soon.
Also, what I call this season,
Hmm.
always September, early October, is flu shot, COVID shot season.
Yeah, yeah, 'tis the season.
Joseph says that he's not going to get it because he doesn't
No,
have government to control him.
my
But I
veterinarian said that all I really need to do.
your veterinarian, yeah, your local veterinarian said, "Here's a tube of ivermectin. Don't let them tell you what to do."
Yeah,
Um,
right.
no, but I got my, and I know you're gonna get it because you're
Yeah, yeah, of course.
fucking whack job, as far as I know. Uh, the yeah, there's a new like a this one's supposed to like cover all the variants that are out. It's running pretty wild from what I'm hearing. I'm seeing a lot of people getting COVID. I've seen like people saying like this is like their second time or they haven't had it before. They finally got it, and supposedly this one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've heard that too. I've heard that a lot of people are getting it, getting COVID, and that yeah, it's spreading quickly. I'm definitely going to get the shot. And you've gotten yours, correct?
yeah, I got mine. I got my flu shot on Monday, and they didn't have it in yet. I went to like
Hmm.
a different Walgreens. I got it on last night, the COVID one. So I'm all juiced up. Did you see though? I know we have other things to talk about. We haven't even started yet, but did you see the new crazy thing that the anti-vaxxers are pushing?
Maybe
Okay,
what one?
so depending on what happens, I don't know if there'll be a show next week because according to them, anyone that was vaccinated, I don't know if they're just talking about the new vaccine or just
Hmm.
vaccinated at all, come October 4th, the government is going to hit a button, the magic button,
All right.
all going to turn into zombies.
I
I'm not
see.
kidding. This is a real, I mean, it's not real, but this is a real conspiracy that chuds are pushing. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Vaxxers October 4th. 2023.
October 4th.
Conspiracy theories about FEMA's October 4th emergency alert test spread online. 3 days ago, yeah, so this is a FEMA thing too. So this is like
Wow.
like Glenn Beck, Obama era
Yeah.
paranoia. You would hear about FEMA camps and everything like that. Emergency broadcast system test on October 4th will send a signal to cell phones nationwide in order to activate nanoparticles such as graphene oxide that has been
Oh,
introduced into
Lord.
people's bodies. AP's assessment, false. Yeah, simple as that. Not true. Very
Yeah.
dumb. Next month's test of the nationwide emergency alert system uses the same familiar audio tone that has been used since the 1960s to broadcast warnings across the country.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God. So, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, let's see. October 4th. Let's look at the date. I don't, just in case we are doing this a little later than
Yeah.
what day does that land on?
That is a Wednesday. We'll be broadcasting
well, we
live.
might be the whole podcast might just be us going breaks.
It'll probably be our highest rated episode.
the best rated episode because and the audience is gonna be like breaks. Yeah. This is when we finally get the advertising.
Yeah,
like, you know what? Maybe we should just, even though just fuck around, just do that anyway and see what happens. 3 hours. So it's either going to be a regular podcast talking about the season finale of Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
And other developing nonsense, government being shut down. Who knows? It might be that, or it might just be us turned into brain dead zombies.
Yes. Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be riveting.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, either way, you're getting a good, solid YSGOAT performance.
Yeah, you're getting a good product.
You're getting a good product either way. We like to think that the people who listen to this are probably vaccinated too, so we'll all have something in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
Want for brains.
Yeah, it'll bring us together.
Yeah, this is the thing that it's like when Glenn Beck said the 9/11 made unite this country. All turning into brain-eating undead zombies is the thing that we need to finally end the divide. I have a feeling though, even if we're all turned to zombies, there would still be like mass of like people disagreeing on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. There'd be like different factions of zombies. Like different
part of the brain is tastier.
Yeah, right. All right.
So speaking of brains, Joseph, what are we talking about today?
All right, so we're going to talk, and this is kind of a working list. We're going to talk about the writers and actors strike, which there's been some resolution on.
The writers one.
Yeah, the writers one. Yep. It's not even like 100% clear to me what the details are, except I have heard from a bunch of people that it looks like it's going to be over, like that they've reached an agreement. Yeah. We're talking about Ahsoka, episode 7 of an 8-episode run. We're talking about the Republican debate and a little bit about Meatball Ron debating Governor Newsom afterwards. We're talking about Trump's latest court loss, and then how afterwards he tried or may have bought a gun against.
No, he did.
It's on camera. We're going to talk about how Trump thinks windmills kill whales.
Yep, that's a known fact.
Yep. We're talking about President Biden joining the picket line in Detroit. We're going to talk about Senator Menendez, a senator from New Jersey. Hunter Biden suing Rudy Giuliani, and then we'll finish up with Elon Musk, his dismantling the election integrity team at Twitter, and then traveling to like Eagle Pass, Texas, to report on the border. And then if we have time,
you're an immigrant. What?
Yeah, I just can't. And honestly, like, from what I understand, a lot of tech companies rely on immigrants. I mean, like more so than perhaps other companies. Anyway, and then if we have time at the end, if we're in the mood, I'll talk a little bit about Nick Adams, alpha male.
Yep, very real conservative, definitely not a joke actor. And
one of my favorite Twitter accounts, for sure. I mean, like honestly, like
a good time. You will get a laugh because it make you hit your head. Like it's so dumb. It's so stupid. It's like what?
It is, but it's like okay, we'll talk about him at the end. So anyway, the actors strike and writers strike.
Yep. Let me see if I can find like what the writers strike when. Let's see. There's like a thing that like lists what they got. I get a lot of it again had to do with protections against AI.
Yeah.
It was definitely I mean, if I like Adam Conover, that guy that he does like Adam Ruins Everything, that show.
Yeah.
He was like one of the leaders of that, and he said that basically like they got more than they even like. It ended up being really good. Oh, here we go. WGA writer's strike is over. It's complex, but the short here is the estimated cost increase. WGA original asked 429 million per year. Studios at first a zero, then 89 million per year, settled to 233 million per year.
Okay.
Compromise, but still win that was needed, being that they always said zero.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much like half, a little more than half. And I think again, though, I think the biggest thing is the AI. That is just scary. Like, but again, the technology is not. There's a lot of factors involved. You can't just jump the gun and say like, "Oh yeah, next year all scripts are going to be made by AI." Like what?
Yeah.
The customer, your audience is going to be very aware of how shitty it is.
True. I mean, it's a very it is a weird thing. I'm glad that the writers are back working. I hope the actors get some settlement out of it. I think that it is weird to see like. I mean, maybe it's not weird, but it's weird to see this AI thing, which is like a fundamental issue. Like you've said this the last couple of weeks. This is not just about like writers in Hollywood. This is about like people in all sorts of different careers.
All creative, even everything.
Not even
in publishing and writing articles and
or teaching or
school,
law,
everything. Yeah.
Law or medicine or I mean, like honestly, like there's no reason to think otherwise that if big tech or big pharma or whatever, if anybody had their way, that the next time you call to get a referral to a specialist, if that decision is made by an AI, I mean, that's entirely plausible. That's terrifying. I mean, like if your insurance
not that it isn't already terrifying enough as it is.
Right. But like imagine that. Like you input your systems into a little chat bot and then it tells you if you get to go to the doctor or not. I mean, that's essentially what they're fighting in like a sort of an abstract way.
The companies, businesses trying to devalue the labor of what it takes. Like I said, like the studio can cut out all residuals and claim that a script was written by an AI and all you did was just punch it up a bit. We hired you to literally just doctor up a script.
Yeah.
That, like any other, like they have that for anyone. Like they have someone write a script and sometimes they have someone come in and like punch it up, make it better. You hear stories all the time. Like what's her face did a lot of that. That was a big deal. Carrie Fisher was known for like improving scripts and stuff for years. And they all were it was weird how every movie had a line written about how George Lucas made her wear no bra in the Wars movie. And it's weird. It's like, wait, why is that in this movie?
It's also weird when you consider that Joss Whedon was also brought in to punch up scripts a lot too. And he also had a penchant for not letting people wear bras. And it's just it's a
duality of
it's a theme.
Yeah. So what happened to that guy? So it's basically a taking it, literally stripping the rights of any type of creative ownership away from creative, and just businesses using AI as a just an excuse to just gobble up everything and kill
Yeah.
residuals until be like, oh well, we have this technology, even though they don't. That's the thing. It's like it just gave them an excuse. It's like, oh, you didn't make this did. We just hired you to like just fix the punctuations
Yeah.
here
Well,
without
and
any
the
bullshit.
thing is too that even if they do eventually develop like a true AI, that AI will be built off of the bones of a million other original
It
scripts.
already is. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it just is
and
like
again,
it.
I hate any of these douchebags. Anytime I would post about AI, I would hear these douchebags say, "Well, artists do that and writers do that. They borrow from previous things." And I'm like, it's not the fucking same
It's
thing.
different.
It's not. Are you fucking? Are you an AI? Like only. It sounds like an AI wrote said this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you a human, or are you just some fucking like talentless hack who thinks it's funny and like
Yeah.
shit on creatives? I think it's so funny. I see like if you want to see the worst comments from people, just go to Facebook. Like anytime I see like an article on Facebook, if you want to read like, and it's an article that has to do with like anything to do with like benefiting like an actor or writer in any way, making more money or anything, you want to go to the comment section on Facebook. It's always some shithead like just shitting on them.
Yeah.
Just like the idea that how dare they make money? How dare it's like, wait, you watch these shows, you consume all these products, and like who do you think's making them? Like
Yeah.
you don't want them to have anything? Like what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy has a team behind him. Like
Yeah, you think the
he,
redneck
he,
jokes write themselves?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta pay a bunch of writers. Jeff
Now, of course, all
Foxworthy,
those writers were just random people he met at the Piggly Wiggly in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
well, I was
but
gonna
they're
say
still
that he's
right.
not a redneck. He's pretends like how
Yeah,
Larry the Cable Guy, believe it or not, and I've heard this rumor, he wasn't a real cable guy.
I've heard that. Yeah,
Yeah, I heard that
right.
he didn't actually have he didn't go in there with the experience of the life, the hardships and of dealing with installing cable for people
Yeah.
in rural southern areas of the country.
What an
He's
odd, what an
fucking
odd
fake.
shtick.
Goddamn fake. Yeah,
I'm a cable guy.
I
Like
think
that's
he was
a
like a Rhodes Scholar or something. He's like him,
that's
like he was like roommates with like John Kennedy, that conservative senator from Mississippi.
oh
They're
geez.
both like John,
Right. It's like
Larry Diff. I don't know,
they
Laramie, Larry. Want to go play some squash
they
and
met one
practice
day.
our
Yeah.
what?
They met one day when their cars were passing and one needed a mustard from the other.
Yeah, the
And
Great
so they,
Poupon. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's when they were like, hey, you want to pretend to be a bunch of low class dirtbags that and lay down to people? Let's LARP.
Yeah, they were at home watching the Beverly Hillbillies thinking there's money to be made here, but how?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So that means I don't know exactly what that means, but like when people go back to work, I don't know. It's probably not gonna be till like for a little while because it's not like 100% cemented. It's just that it's like they come to an agreement. It's pretty much done, or it will
right.
be done. I think they're still working out some things. The actors' strike is still going, but I have a feeling with the writer's strike, that means they'll definitely come to a head. And you know, I mean, dude, it's been like 5 fucking months. Do you
Yeah,
realize
five
that?
months. Yeah.
I mean, that's almost a half a fucking year. That's a lot of shit that's not going to get made.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
saw
is.
what was it, like Max basically stated that they're not working on any new development right now. They're going right into just this second, third seasons, fourth seasons of their hit shows. Like
Yeah.
they can't, because it's like they got to
Some of
catch
that
up.
might just be because of their asshole CEO, but
Well, yeah, but it makes sense. It's like you're gonna get like season two out of Game of Thrones before you work on a news show. You know what I mean? Like you got to get
true.
the stuff that has proven right. You want to get that Last of Us second season out
Yeah,
before the turn of,
right.
before
Before that,
2030.
before that kid turns like 35.
Yeah, well, I think she's already fully grown. I don't think she's gonna like show up the next season and be like a foot taller. She was already like I think she
Yeah,
was like
that's true.
18. It's
That's
like
true.
when you watched like a sitcom when you were a kid and like the little boy the season before, and then they come
Yeah,
back in the summer and the little boy's like taller than the older brother, and you're like, what?
right. It's like
It was
driving
like
a car.
called that like the growing pains. It was that kid, the little kid on the show, not Kirk Cameron, the Ben, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then like they come back one season and he was literally like a foot taller. And I was just like,
Right.
he's all
Yeah,
lanky and tall and weird looking. And it's like, who the fuck is this?
that's crazy.
um, so I mean, it's good. I mean, it's just like I don't. I guess they're just gonna space out products more. I mean, I feel like there was a glut of movies this year. Like,
Yeah,
look at there's so many movies that didn't do well.
there's a movie that came out tonight that looked really good. I'm not sure about the plot or anything, but that creator, the creator.
I heard bad reviews of it already.
I have too, but visually it looked really good. It looked like the
There's
kind of
always
movie I would
like
like.
movies that like cost hundreds of millions of dollars and they come out and like no one fucking sees them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
I wonder how much I wonder what it's like overseas. I wonder if there's still like a ton of people going to movie theaters in like Asia, or parts of Europe or something, because they're making these movies for a reason. I mean, like they're
oh
not.
yeah.
But
Well, yeah, I remember like what was it like Pacific Rim for an example is a good example of like we only got a sequel from that because of how well it performed in
yeah,
China.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm okay. I mean, not that it matters, but like, oh, this one looked visually good. Like, there's a few movies.
From the guy who made Rogue One, I
Is
think.
it?
Yeah.
Well, it reminded me of like Oblivion with Tom Cruise, which I really liked, and
That was okay.
I thought it was really good. And then what was that other one that I was thinking of? Oh, the one they renamed. It was originally called Edge of Tomorrow,
Yeah, that
and
one ended up they were supposed to make a sequel to that.
I think they were working on it. That was
I don't
great.
know, but a lot of stuff got put on hold, and because of the writers' actor strike. I mean, I'm curious to find out. If we're gonna find out like there was all these projects that get mentioned, but every time there's one of these strikes, they just end up dropping tons of shit. Shit does never gets
Yeah,
picked.
yeah,
They end
yeah,
up killing like so many projects, and I'm curious to see like what didn't what we thought was gonna come out and is not gonna happen. But maybe they'll like learn to streamline some shit a little more. I don't know.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think next year is going to be a very sparse year for movies and TV, and I don't think people are going to realize that.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Yeah, I think that people will be reminded of that next year. So.
I think like other thing too, we were reminded too is that like SNL didn't get a chance to make fun of the Bobert
Yeah,
juice thing, but I don't know if they could have made that funny in any like funnier than it was.
yeah. That's like the Sarah Palin stuff. Like, you literally just recreate it, and it's funny. Like, you don't have
I
to
think
do anything.
they would ruin it actually.
Yeah,
So the writer's strike spared us from what would have
true.
been yeah would have ruined.
Yeah, hat on a hat.
All right. Well, speaking of writing or writers and actors,
Ahsoka.
they make they usually make a product, and
Yeah,
sometimes we get like something out of it. And one of those is Ahsoka. We've been talking
yeah.
about. It's episode 7.
I thought episode 7 was great. I will say episode 6 was really, really good.
I like the
Episode,
little turtle people though. I liked
yeah,
how kind of useless they were and how adorable they are and weird and
yeah,
their little voices. And I like how they just like they don't have any weapons. They're just like throwing shit. And like
rocks and
I
shit.
love that they had the slingshot and that little thing pulls out slingshot. You're like, yeah, that shit's gonna. He's gonna fuck up
Right?
that
No.
slingshot. And it was just like blurp. And I liked how the dog was kind of in there too, and his little head was
Yeah.
sticking out. And he was like old dopey and stuff. It's like I like this episode a lot. I thought it
I
was
hope
good.
I hope Sabine takes the dog with her.
We'll see. There's a theory that the next episode is going to be depressing. If you notice, there was like kind of like a happy ending in this episode.
Yep, yeah.
Like they're setting the next episode up to have some like Empire Strikes Back ending type shit.
What is there a theory like who's going to die? Do they say?
It's just the theory is that something dark's going to happen because this is all supposed to lead into like the movie that they
Yeah. Well, that
they
would make sense because you need if you're going to lead into a movie, you need Thrawn to emerge from this in a position of power.
I feel like what's his face is going to get murked.
Bridger.
Yeah, I could see that Ezra being, or maybe even Sabine. Something bad's gonna happen. One of them's gonna get killed again. Probably nobody. It'll just be that dog.
Oh
That's
man.
yeah. Sorry, dude. That dumb derpy dog's getting killed.
Um.
Damn you! Thrawn is the most evil character.
I thought for sure. Who's that guy? Not Ray. Is it Ray Parks? What was the guy's name?
The one who died in real
Yeah.
life.
Right.
The guy who plays Balin. This is why I have to.
I know. He was great in this episode. He was really, really good. And I thought for sure that they were going to kind of like go in and have Ahsoka kill him or somehow lead to his death at the end, but he didn't. He just kind of wandered off into the
murky in
sunset.
the end. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it was because like the guy died and they could never film like any touch-ups or anything like that. Like, because there's a scene where like, okay, so there's a couple of new battles, like Sabine and Ezra are fighting Shin and the stormtroopers, and then there's a rematch between Balin and Ahsoka. I like when she's like, he's like, you can't beat me, and she's like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
And then the ship came in and shot. I liked it. It's like we didn't talk about this. It's like one of these details we forgot. But one of the things after episode 5, that's the one with Anakin. You got to see Anakin again. It was like a hologram, which was kind of cool in this one. But they're calling her Ahsoka the White. When she reawakened, if you notice, she's wearing all white.
That's funny. Yeah.
And it's like she's not as stoic now. She seems a little more like
lively,
and happier, and like she just seems a little more like the character in the cartoon. Like she's not so like stuffy. And it's like when Gandalf came back.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
He's like, I'm a little different now. And I guess someone said, oh, that was it. That when Gandalf came back, he became what Saruman was supposed to be.
Okay.
When he became Gandalf the White.
The White, yeah.
Because you had Saruman the White still, but he was acting all like I don't know. I guess he wasn't doing his job. He was being a douchebag or something.
Right.
So Ahsoka's attitudes kind of changed a bit. She seems more like chill. When like they're going in the whale and the robot's like, you think we're gonna get there? And she's like, I don't fucking care. I just want to ride a whale. That scene though, when they get out of like the
hyperspace,
and there's all those landmines and shit.
No, I don't know if you looked closely. Those were windmills. And when
oh yeah, you're right. The windmills in space. Donald Trump said that. We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said that the number one killer of whales is those windmills that generate electricity.
Yes, but no, you're right. These were mines. That was a great scene. It was real sad.
But they all left. I don't think anyone else were killed. They ended up all like looping away.
Didn't they say before though that basically the whales go to this planet to die? Like this.
I guess they were like, not today, but they're going there to die anyway. But they're like, I'm not going out like this.
Yeah, right.
I'll come back.
So yeah, that was a great scene. This one had a lot of like old school Star Wars touches to it, I thought. Which was
love the whole Ezra and Sabine. I love their like back and forth. I like how he fights without a lightsaber, even though he used a gun too, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's been like by himself hanging out with little turtle men that don't speak English. Little turtle boys and girls. And they're adorable. They're weird. They're like kind of ugly and cute at the same time. Kind of like the dog too. It's like ugly.
Yeah.
But I love the turtles like voices. They have like this like cutesy little like I don't even know. I can't even do it. But them fighting was so fucking funny. The
That was good.
stormtroopers, there's a theory that they're dead because
Oh,
the
okay.
the witches can
Reanimate people
reanimate
or
people. And all the like, if you notice, like a lot of the stormtroopers had like red bands
yeah,
around them.
yeah.
A lot of them are like dead, and then there's like other theories like I forgot it's like a Japanese thing of like putting gold on like cracks or something. And if you look at like
Yes.
Thrawn's ship, there's like filling of gold, and then there's that storm
Oh,
his
that's funny.
captain
Yeah.
has that gold face and like some gold parts it's like filling in. But the one of the I saw like someone making fun of this online. It's pretty funny. When Thrawn's like, "Well, actually, I did want to lose."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, all the stormtroopers were killed. You're joined like that's they've fallen into my trap again.
that that was the only thing I wasn't thrilled with. Thrawn at the end is like, if you look at it this way, this is actually even a better outcome. And the
Like,
woman
what are
he's
you
with is
fucking
like,
Ben
no,
Shapiro, like trying
right?
to
It's like,
defend like Trump or something? Like, well, actually, I wanted the stormtroopers to die because this is my grand plan as
he, he he tricked them into charging him with 91 felony accounts. Like,
a by having half my army killed by the Jedi, I was able to sneak in whatever the fuck I'm transporting back to the.
well, that part made when I saw that I was like, okay, that at least makes a little sense. Like if we keep the Jedi occupied over here, then we can load up the ship and get out of here. I was like, okay, maybe, but like, come on, like you needed to kill them
Aha!
right there.
You fallen into my trap
Come on,
by
yeah.
losing. I wanted my hand. I did want to lose my
I
hand.
wanted you to kill 2 units of commandos.
Yeah, I didn't need this hand. I always wanted a stump.
Well, it was yeah, right. It was a good
Like
episode. I think last week's was like so amazing that this
I,
week's
it was. I really like this one. I don't know. I liked
it
all
was
the
good. No,
fights. I liked how Shin's dog was like color matched her more than the like everyone has like they're all like dark gray, and then she gets like the light gray one, and I'm like,
eh,
what? Like, did she personally pick like, oh, well, I'm a blonde. Give me the blonde one. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck? Like,
that's funny.
uh,
Um,
but like, Balin leaves, but I feel like okay, this actor passed away. I wonder if like there was a scene that just didn't get filmed, and they had to just be like, Balin disappeared or something, and it was like, okay, I'm sure he'll be back in the next episode, but
yeah,
they said it's kind of interesting. He like basically tells Shin like, yeah, you go do your thing. I'm
yeah. Well, you almost wonder if he's gonna not turn into a good guy, but he's like, look, you want in with the Empire. You make the call, and our paths are different. This is not. I'm not. I don't want to join the
But what does
Empire.
he want exactly?
That's the thing is
It
that
doesn't
like
make it. I'm so confused now. I'm like, wait, didn't you? The whole point was to get on the ground game with Thrawn. Help Thrawn
yeah
come back. So because he's the like he can win or could possibly win, and you're there from the beginning. It's like a startup or something.
yeah
You buy the
right
stocks early. But it's like, what the fuck does he want exactly? I mean, it's weird. I just think like I like the character. I like. But I'm
yeah
curious with Shin what will happen to her. Like, will she join the good guys or she'll just.
yeah
I feel like though with her, I don't see like if she becomes like an ally of anything, a good guy, whatever you want to call it. Something that would have to happen because I feel like right now that she has shown nothing, and her
yeah
character has shown her not to just be kind of like a Sith wannabe.
and
Like
they even like contrasted it further by making Balin like neutral almost.
yeah, he seems
I
more
mean,
like he could kind of help Ahsoka in some ways too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
depending
like
on the situation, like he could end up aiding them in
he'd
like
be an unreliable ally,
yeah,
or something like
like
that.
something that like yeah, like the opportunity arises. But with her, I just feel like she's just like she's not much different from like Reva in the beginning
No,
of P1.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. Like Reva was just like straight up just like a evil character, and then she kind of like went through a bunch of like whatever. I'm curious
Right.
if you want to see that character again or not.
Mhm.
Because they left it open.
Yeah.
I still love though that people made jokes about how like getting stabbed in the Star Wars universe doesn't mean anything anymore because she
True.
got stabbed in the gut. Sabine got stabbed.
Hmm.
That Inquisitor dude got stabbed. Qui-Gon got stabbed in the gut and he died
Yeah. Quickly. Yeah.
very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Anyway,
Uh,
next week will be great. I'm hoping it's a nice long one. This one was kind of short. It was like 42 minutes.
I mean that's
Um,
still longer than the season finale of fucking Mandalorian. What do you
true.
think of the appearance of C-3PO in this episode? Didn't it feel a little weird?
It did feel a little weird, and
Like
I
it's
quickly had to
C-3PO,
do.
everybody. He's one of the guys from the original trilogy. Let's give C-3PO a hand.
Yeah, it did feel weird. I was like, a couple things felt weird. First is like you could send a hologram of yourself. You don't need 3PO to
Yeah,
like
well, they haven't
deliver him.
recasted Leia yet, so I think they're gonna
Fucking
figure that
email
out.
that shit, you know, like
Space mail,
um
jizz
so
mail.
I thought that was a little weird.
Cats.
I don't yeah, I mean, that was fine. It was nice to see
Hello,
C3PO.
everyone. Like, ready for like the crowd to like clap.
Yeah.
There's like
Well, even the leader of the, I forget her name, but the leader in the that
Mon
little,
Mothma.
yeah, Mon Mothma, she was just like, oh, by all means, please, of course, C3PO may address the Senate.
You're
You know,
one
it's
of the
like,
original trilogy characters. You're an iconic brand.
right.
We I love that one guy, that one dude's definitely a fucking
Oh, come on,
he's
yeah.
a he's a MAGA,
You're
like a
gonna see
MAGA
him.
Republican dude. He's like fucking what's his Rand Paul like
He's gonna
talking
have
about
his own
strip the
episode on,
funding of
yeah.
Ukraine.
He's
What?
gonna have his own episode on Andor next season, you know, like with like one of the
Landor
people.
takes place in the past,
Uh
like
oh
15
yeah,
years.
shit,
Yeah.
yeah. I just meant like with the subversive people. So Andor. What am I thinking of? Was it Andor?
Mandalorian?
Was that was on Mandalorian? Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
one
what I
with
was
the
thinking.
doctor and
Yeah,
the yeah, he's definitely you're gonna find out next week that he's crooked as shit.
yeah. You're gonna see him with those characters. You
Or
know.
maybe he is just a straight up, he could just be a straight up asshole who's just like,
Mhm.
why am I funding this? Why am I doing that? It could just be possible that he's just
Wants to shut the space government down.
yeah, he just wants to shut the space government down, you know? He
Ugh.
wants to fire Mon Mothma.
Our republic debt has ballooned to 4 trillion credits.
He wants to strip funding from going against Grand Admiral Putin.
Yeah,
And
yeah, basically.
Grand Admiral Putin. I thought that scene was cool. I liked how they referenced Mandalorian season 3. They
Uh,
they talked about
yes,
the battle on Mandalore, and I liked how even that guy is like, that guy was just a
uh,
lone wolf.
he was a
Uh,
warlord. Like a, they said they called him a warlord,
yeah, he was
bandit
just a
warlord or
lone
something.
warlord. You know, he had no connections to anybody.
Well, I mean, like you, well, that could have been true, you know, but
I'm just
like,
making jokes about like
yeah,
whenever time there's a mass shooter, they're like, it's a lone wolf.
yeah.
Wasn't on like Gab or 4chan or whatever,
God. Ugh.
starting a cult or anything. Um, so yeah, it's cool. I liked it. I'm curious what they do next week. Um, I'm curious do you know there's a couple of casting. I guess the main Night Sister, like the middle one,
Yeah.
she was from Farscape. She was the main woman on Farscape.
Oh,
I didn't realize that.
really?
Yeah, I mean, how would you know? She's like covered in this like
Yeah.
but then like so it's yeah, someone posted that she's
What
from
was her name?
Farscape,
Claudia Black? Was that
something
her?
like that. Yeah. And if you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, I can see the shape in the face and everything.
All
So it makes
right.
sense.
Yeah, I wasn't super into Farscape, but I liked it. I mean, I remember
Farscape was pretty
watching.
good. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, you gotta remember, like, I don't think people realize this stuff. There wasn't that much stuff back then.
right. That was it. That was
Like,
it.
that was it, dude. There's not like 1,000 things like there are now. People don't realize that. We had like one superhero movie every like 3 years if we're
Yep.
lucky. We're lucky if it like even looked at all like the comic in any way
Yeah.
whatsoever. Farscape, it's starting to get to that era where more content's getting out, sci-fi and everything, but that's like the late 90s. Still not there yet. We don't even have
Yeah,
episode one out yet at that time. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't think people realize like how how much shit is out there now.
There's so much content. I mean,
There's
every
so
once in a
much
while,
content.
yeah, I'll like stumble across a show on Netflix or whatever, and it'll be like a reasonably good sci-fi show or whatever, and I'll have never heard of it. That movie, No One Will Save You. I'd never heard of that. I had never heard of that before, just
Not the one
stumbling
with
across it.
the one with the aliens.
Yeah,
I saw that. It was all right. It was okay.
no dialogue.
Now there's like one line. I
Yeah, I mean,
like
like,
the actress who played her. She was very expressive, so she did a good job. She's from like she's been in other things. There was like some movie with her and like Jonah Hill's sister. They were like in
jeez.
some high school movie that was pretty big a couple of years ago that got
Oh,
popular. Um, I don't know.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. It's definitely like I said, those first two episodes were like but this one, what did you think of seeing Anakin again as a
I
hologram?
like. I thought it was fine. I was confused at first. If when I first saw it, I was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?" And then it became obvious that he was a hologram. I thought it was good. You know, I mean, like ultimately inconsequential, but good.
I'm still curious about like I mean, the good thing about him is that he's still like young enough that you could use him in the future. Like even if it's like a little bit of de-aging, it's not like Mark Hamill who's like
Right.
literally in the 70s now. You still got a good like 10 years of to use this guy without making it
Yeah.
look too weird. Same thing even with Ewan McGregor. Like I
Yeah.
hope they bring him back again. I wouldn't mind seeing like another season of Obi-Wan or something.
Yeah.
I would not want him to fight Vader though. No more Vader in that.
No,
I
I
wouldn't
would
mind
like
flashbacks with Anakin. I think that would be cool.
that would be cool. There's all sorts of stuff you can do,
But
with that.
I'm curious though. Okay, so we saw him as a hologram, and that's just a hologram. It's like who cares? It's just like whatever. But
Right.
like the thing that she dealt with in that like world between worlds, whatever they call that,
Yeah.
again, was that like inner mind, or was he like truly like a force ghost that
I
she confronted, and that
I
he
think
kind
it's
of goes in and out, or I don't know.
I think it's got to be in her mind, or like,
That kid did hear the lightsabers. Remember the
yeah, but that could have been like in her mind too. I mean, I the thing that makes it real clear to me is that within that dream or world within whatever, Anakin was both good and evil. And if it were 100% like this external thing that she was experiencing kind of objectively, then he would have only been good because he had already changed. He had redeemed himself at the end, and therefore in the afterlife or in the Force Ghost life or whatever, he would have been uniformly good. But
that like
since
it was he represented her conflict in
yes,
her mind.
yeah, she is just like conjuring up images of him and kind of working through an internal problem which is probably a double conflict, like am I ready for this on my own, and am I ready on this so that I can lead Sabine. It's like this kind
And
of dual.
the fact that she is all chill now, because in the end, even Anakin
Yes,
became chill. Like when he
right.
was evil, that he was just like smiled and he's like, all right, bye
Yeah.
bye.
Now the other thing is that this could be like some sort of weird pocket universe where things kind of phase in and out of existence, and you're literally getting an old Anakin and a new Anakin back and forth, and they're different entities because they're existing in different points of space or time. But like that seems super complicated for a show that has space whales. So I
I mean,
think,
the space whales are complicated. They're
oh, sure.
traveling in pocket unit. They're going.
Flippers are going in space.
They
What does
just
it even
flip it
do?
real
Like,
quick in
is that like some
space.
sort of vestigial reaction or
They're
something?
like wormholes. They're just excuses to get to one place from the other.
Well, I think it was all in her head.
Whale
Uh,
holes.
yeah, I think it was all in her head, and I think you're right. I think that after she exited that little world, she had resolved those conflicts, and she was ready. That this is the same thing when Luke went in the tree, and fought the Vader image. He didn't literally fight Vader. It's the
No.
same type of thing.
And then
This is
Vader
that.
ended up being revealed as him.
Yes, this is the same plot device that we see in a lot of these Star Wars things.
But again, the only reason why it makes it like, did she really confront Anakin is because that kid heard lightsabers. And
yeah,
he picked up on it, and that's how they were able to save Ahsoka. She would have just eventually
true.
drowned or something if that kid didn't.
But he could have been tapping into her mind and kind of seeing what was in her mind, which was lightsabers. But yeah, I think that's it, because like,
what are you thinking about? Just lightsabers.
Lightsabers.
Just lightsabers, nothing else.
Ancient Rome.
What the fuck is that about? Dude, have you seen that weird thing?
Well, they did a poll where it's like the average man thinks about ancient Rome once a day or something, and like, I don't know that that's like incredibly far off.
I don't think I ever thought about ancient Rome once in my lifetime.
We've been talking about the fall of an empire and the rise of a republic like for the last half hour, which is essentially
but I don't associate that with anything real. I'm just thinking of lightsabers.
Well, anyway, so
just thinking of lightsabers, which would make sense. Balin was on the show Rome.
Yeah, see,
so it all connects.
6 degrees of Rome.
6 degrees of Rome. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So speaking of Rome, all of it, the Republican debate.
Yeah.
Number 2. This one was a true number 2.
Yeah. I watched it like on a 5-minute delay. I was doing a bunch of shit, and I had to go
later the night.
Yeah. So, but I did watch it mostly live, so I can kind of like follow along on Twitter with what people were saying. And I will say that this was it was boring. I really struggled to follow it. Not intellectually,
Hutchinson
but
wasn't
just
there.
What?
Governor Hutchinson from Arkansas wasn't there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I mean, he brings the fun. He brings the excitement and the drama.
It was just boring. It was like everything was boring, and it shouldn't have been.
They interrupted each other.
The
reality is that it's like the debate is pointless because Trump is still leading by like 40-50%.
Yeah.
He's not going to do any of the debates. He might be rotting in a jail cell next year. He might be dead next year. I mean, but he's still the leader of the party. And none of these guys can define it. Did you see one of the most pathetic parts of the night was, the Univision, was it Univision?
Yeah, there was a woman from Univision who was like,
she was great. She
was pretty good.
Questions, and everyone ignored her or didn't answer her. But for a second, it looked like Rick Scott was ready to rip apart DeSantis about the whole slavery thing.
Yeah, you mean Tim Scott?
Tim Scott.
Yes,
not Rick Scott. Yeah, Rick Scott's probably like,
Rick Scott. Yeah,
goats. I eat goats and children.
Right.
No, Tim Scott, whose girlfriend was there tonight.
Yeah,
Her name is Rosie Palm, and her 5 sisters.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a girlfriend. Her name is Rosie. She's in Canada. She has 5 sisters.
Yeah.
And her palms are not hairy.
I know the scene you're talking about because
the scene.
Bill, it was the moderator asked Ron DeSantis about the slavery thing, and he just went off in his weird little nasally, whiny voice. This is a hoax, blah, blah, blah.
That's not true. That's not true.
And then Tim Scott kind of shook his head, and they went to him, and it did look
for a second.
Almost,
this is disgusting. But then he quickly shifted because he knows that he's in a racist ass party. He knows the game. He doesn't care. But it was like, whoa, Tim Scott's gonna rip him apart.
Right.
No, he's not.
He started out saying, look, there's nothing redeeming about slavery. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, slavery was horrible. You can't defend it. And I'm like, go on. And then he's like, but fortunately we overcame that and racism doesn't exist anymore. And I'm like, fuck me. Fuck.
Yeah, racism doesn't exist anymore. That's why in Florida, they're trying not to teach slavery.
Right.
Because racism just vanished.
Yeah. It was really it was bizarre because it's almost like you can see, like, in those movies where someone's been body snatched or whatever, but there's still part of them like
Yep.
left, and
There's
they try,
a little left.
yeah, they try to like communicate, but then like the hive mind takes them over, and they're like, "Oh no, I am fine. There is nothing wrong with me. Let us
There
enjoy
is
this."
no
Yeah,
only Zool.
right. But like it looked like that, like like the real him, like that was probably he's said he's been pulled over for like
Yeah.
fucking
Like,
US senators getting pulled over all the time by cops. Like, maybe.
maybe I shouldn't go 90 in a school zone.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, that was like an interesting scene. There was a few interesting scenes.
But again,
Uh,
it's like the best moment of the night was Chris Christie when he did it like he thought it was going to be this big thing that would
yeah.
land. And he's like, Donald Trump is ducking these debates. You know what? You're not Donald Trump. You're Donald Duck. And then the camera goes to him and he makes this face and it's made me crack up like this guy like he fucking like looked in a mirror and he
Yeah.
was like this is gonna land. I was like he looked like fucking Ronnie Dangerfield right there. And it makes me crack up. I think it's like one of the funniest fucking things
Yeah.
I've ever seen. But then there was like all these weird lines throughout the night. He's like, Joe Biden is sleeping with the head of the teachers union. I'm like, what? And it's his
Yeah.
wife who's a teacher, but I'm like, wait, she's the head of the teacher. Like, and then then
Right.
Mike
It's
Pence
so hard to
like,
follow.
I've been fucking a teacher for 38 years. My wife's
I
a teacher. I'm a normal man.
I get my pencil sharpened twice. It was like so bizarre, so
Yeah,
cringy.
that is weird. I mean, it was like, and then the Vivek guy who's like, I'm the one who can get the young people. Wait, weren't you the guy that doesn't want young people to vote?
Yeah.
And then
And
like, dude, calm
Nikki
down with your
Nikki
fucking
Haley
hair.
Nikki Haley did like really have a great line
Oh,
though,
she
and
did. She had a zinger on him. She said that get a little
she's
dumber every time he talks. That
she's
we
like
get dumber. Yeah,
she and she looked
that was probably the best line of the night. But
she looked so
Vivek's hair,
relatable
man,
too.
what is going on with Vivek's hair?
Oh, I don't know. It
Did he
looks
use a Flowbee or something? Like it
it's
looked
like
like
half
flame.
like a racer head or something.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got like a mutated baby, and like David Lynch directed him last night. He looked like he looked like Kramer or what was it? People were comparing him to
yeah,
Butthead there.
he's got a little butt head going.
I mean,
Um,
I don't get it. Like, I know he's not like tall or anything like that. It's like, dude, this doesn't make you look tall. If anything, this makes you look shorter.
yeah, he was an odd one. I mean, they really
He's
I don't
he's ridiculous. Like I
he's
said,
just very unlikable. I think even Republicans will say like he's
but
not
he pulls
likable.
like he's one of the, that's how bad they all are. The fact that
Yeah,
this guy has risen to like
he's
the
like
top of
10% or something. Yeah.
yeah, that's insane.
Oh, um, yeah. I thought someone said about this about Nikki Haley, and this isn't my thought. I want to say it was let's see who it was. Stephanie Rule, I think, who does the MSNBC 10 o'clock
Yeah.
show now, 11 o'clock
She
show
used to
now.
be like John McCain's like campaign
Yeah,
manager.
and she is a more conservative than most, and she was like, she basically said Nikki Haley used to be a really shitty politician in South Carolina, but then she went to Washington and she learned how to be pretty good at this. And I see that. Like I hate Nikki Haley. I don't like anything about her, but like she was real good. She looks like she knows what she's talking about. She has like a pretty
She's
good
But it's the same thing like with Tim Scott, where she'll for a second there'll be this like moment of clarity,
yeah,
but then she'll quickly shift back to like MAGA chudness.
but like Tim Scott to me looks like he's got that weird like I have nothing in common with you. If I went to your house, I'd have no idea what to bring. I would wonder if I should bring beer. I would have no idea what we're gonna do or talk about. But like
What are
Nikki
humans?
Haley, what?
What are humans?
Yeah, right. But with Nikki Haley, I'm like, if I showed up at Nikki Haley's house, I could probably have a decent time. Like if we avoided politics altogether. She seems like a nice, relatable lady that like
that's what I do. I like to watch the Republican debate and see a bunch of sociopaths, and I like to decide which person could I be just disregard all my feelings on politics that I could go have a beer with and get to
think about it. Look at the people
on stage. Can I have a beer with or
look at the people on stage last night. Look at the people on stage last night. The only two people that I would have any tolerance for in a social situation is the guy they wouldn't let talk from North Dakota.
Eugenics Levy.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nikki Haley. Because like look at Mike. I'm not going to Mike Pence's house.
He's
I'm not going
to. He might put me like in his dungeon or something.
Yeah, right. He'd come out in his gimp outfit and stuff.
He'd come out dressed up as a cowboy with assless chaps. And he's gonna have spurs on. Like he's
And Ron DeSantis is just like the most shit human alive.
Yeah, he just seems like a creep. And Vivek is like just a scuzzball. He's got slick back hair. Fucking sloppy steaks got pylons.
He's just dumping water on your steak and stuff.
He's a piece of shit.
And who else was there? Chris Christie. I guess I could go to Chris Christie's house. Only if we
Joseph watches debates. Which house can I go to and have a decent time at? You are literally the George W. Bush 2000 voter, the one that who can you have a beer with, Al Gore or George W. Bush?
But no, it's not quite that. I mean, like
I understand what you're saying. You're not saying you would vote for them.
Yes, I'm at least saying like these are recognizable humans that I'm not repulsed by immediately. Like
as sociopathic or bizarre as the other.
Separate from politics, I'm not repulsed from them. I'm repulsed by them.
You could go to his house and they're going to be playing Rappin' Rodney on which is the Rodney Dangerfield record.
Yep.
It's gonna be a decent time,
Plenty of room at the beach for him and all his guests. But
that guy's awesome.
But like aside from politics, Christie, Haley, and North Dakota guy, I'm like, okay, if I got stuck with them at a dinner, I could make it through. But like sitting at a table with like DeSantis.
Vivek's gonna like try to get you to buy like timeshares or something.
Exactly.
Ron DeSantis is just gonna stare at you weird.
And like
constantly leaves to go to the bathroom doing God knows what.
Trying to make weird smiles and stuff.
Yeah, he's just like
If I got sat next to DeSantis at a dinner table, the waiter would find me with like a fork in one eye and a knife in the other, like halfway through service. It'd be.
I guess Pence, it would just be odd. It'd just be awkward.
That'd be awkward, yeah. Because he'd be like, "What's?"
Tim Scott would be, and it would just be awkward also.
Tim Scott though might be the kind of guy where you're like, "Fuck is this?" But it's kind of like entertaining because
he makes like a really weird joke and it's funny.
Yeah,
like it's just like you can tell he's probably got a couple of bad jokes that like they're gonna be like, "Whoa, I didn't expect that from you." And
right?
He's gonna have great stories about being on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
In the Whack Pack,
right?
His time as Beetlejuice, not the Afro, the Spanish Fly that is Beetlejuice for Lauren Boebert.
But it'd be funny, like if like the guest insists on a toast and he has like his first sip of champagne, and the next thing you know, he's working blue, telling like the aristocrat,
his ties around his head, like his ties, like
yeah.
He's such a weirdo that like they'd be like time to toast, and he'd be eating toast. Oh, you said toast, and everyone would be like,
See, I would actually be like,
yeah, that's funny, Tim.
Right, yeah. No, that's good. A lot of people.
Let me look at my watch for the 12th time in the past 30 seconds.
I don't usually appreciate prop comics, but this I guess you're pretty good there, Tim.
Carrot Top, we got it.
Well, anyway, the debate itself, the fatal flaw of the debate, in my mind was that it was boring. No one
Go on
no
it. What?
one deviated from script. No one said
Now,
anything I haven't seen them tweet a million times
uh,
before.
the is it Univision or Telemundo? I made a mistake. Which one is
I
it?
think it was Univision she did.
She had good questions, but they all tried dodging it.
Yeah.
What the
Or
fuck,
they
man? You
pivot.
just gotta go on Fox now? Like the first debate was on Fox.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I don't yeah,
go ahead. What?
I think most like they knew ahead of time Trump wasn't going to agree to any debates on any other channel. So when they were putting it together, I think it was still up in the air as to whether or
Oh
not Trump would
my god, he
participate.
totally set them up.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
coward. You know, people are like, oh, he's doing ahead. He's like leading the polls and everything like that. So what? There's always people leading in the polls during
He,
these debates. He's a coward. He's not going to
he
debate.
should have shown up, and I'll bet you he would have crushed it against these clowns. I'll bet
Maybe,
you.
maybe
And
it's
he,
Schrodinger's Trump. We don't know.
yeah, well, that's true. But like, I can see like maybe Christie getting a zinger on him, or even Nikki Haley kind of like outsmarting him or baiting him into looking really boorish. But like, honestly,
Trump
all of
is
them
not.
they were
He's
all terrified to say anything against him, negative about him.
Yeah, they're still like they hardly brought him up last night. Uh Only one that would really bring him up was Christie.
Yeah,
You know, besides this lame Donald Duck joke, which whatever, you know. It's
yeah.
always funny. And Trump oh, he's so good at coming with nicknames. Is he? I mean, they're just these like fatty. Oh my god, he's a genius. He called the guy who's fat fat. Oh my god, how does he do it? He
It's like
is
calling a bald guy curly or something
yeah.
like that.
Oh, he did it. Oh, Trump is a fucking genius.
Well,
Like
yeah, it's in his delivery. It's in his delivery. Like
I know.
Lion Ted isn't
Well, I don't
necessarily
know that.
funny,
Yeah. Well, Ted Cruz is. You
but
work it
like
out. Ted Cruz is a piece of shit. It's like easy. It's like, I mean, lying Ted over there. But again, like, is that
Lion
even that
Ted.
great? Like,
No, but
all
it's
politicians lie. Like,
yeah.
who cares? Like,
That's like me though trying to like recite a Stephen Wright joke. Like I could do it
yeah.
verbatim, but I'm not going to do it. You know,
Well, you
like I'm
gotta
not, it's
go. I have a. You know,
yeah. I mean, like
a phone in my car. Answering machine says, "I'm home right now." Donald Trump, like, I think the reality is that he can't debate because I don't. I think he is has cognitive decline. I think that
yeah, that
he has. We are seeing it more and more. Him just saying these bizarre things. I don't think he can handle being on a debate stage. Everyone's talking. No, I think he would get, like you said. I could see Nikki Haley coming in and saying
yeah,
something. I could see Christie. Christie would be better because you would have something to work with. He
yes,
doesn't
yeah,
have anyone to work off of. It's like it was just like again though. It's like I don't know what the point of these debates are because none of them are coming in like what is it? The
yeah,
highest one is 10%.
yeah,
The leader of the party is a criminal who has been indicted like countless like cartoonishly amount of
yeah,
times.
yeah,
He looks sick. He's out of shape.
yeah,
He does not I seriously think he's losing his marbles. He
yeah,
already has lost his marble with the I think it's becoming more and more obvious. I mean, like he goes on stage and what do you do? He's talk about whales being killed by
yeah.
the wind farms. Like
See, with Trump, there's
what?
always something weird. Like he hears part of something and then repeats it wrong and makes himself look even worse. Because there is theoretically, they're starting these new windmills now in the deep ocean,
Okay,
middle of the
that
ocean,
makes more sense now.
and
You say it like that.
they're not tethered to anything. They're like they like usually if you put a windmill in the water, they're anchored to the ground with like a pipe or
And
something.
they're not.
These aren't. These are like buoys, basically,
Oh, that's
whatever.
weird.
And but the wind out there in the middle of the fucking ocean is like long and sustained and
Yeah, you're gonna
right.
generate a lot of shit if
Yeah,
things get blown and destroyed.
right. but like in theory too, it could like I don't think it's the windmill itself. I think it's the noise interferes with their sonar or something.
Okay.
There is like a but anyway, that's not how Trump articulates it or understands it. You know, he heard part of a story that probably was in some form true at some point, and then the next thing you know, he's telling people that like you can't put a windmill in Texas because it'll kill a whale. You know, he's using that
Yeah, that's
information
what
to
it sounded
fight.
like. It's like that Bobby Moynihan character in SNL, the one where he's like, "Hey,
Yeah,
did you hear?"
yeah,
And he would always like screw up the names, and he's
yeah,
like whisper it, and like he would get every story wrong. It would be like partially true, so you knew
yeah.
what he was referencing, but he was like 100% wrong
That's
completely.
it. Because Trump will say this is why we need to drill in Texas and why we shouldn't have wind farms in Southern California. You know, and you're like, wait a minute, what where the whales come in? I don't know. It's real
You know, there
frustrating.
was whales that Ahsoka traveled and the portal to go against Grand Admiral Thrawn and save Ezra Bridges.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Besides spreading fascistic rhetoric and oh, did you see that thing about him? Wait, was it like the 27 or 30 things he wants to do if he got a second term?
I did see that video. Yeah.
I gotta see if
Uh,
I can find the list. It's like batshit insane. Like,
it is bizarre. It's hard to separate, like, because Trump says a lot of shit. Like, some of those things he probably would 100% do, and others seem like that seems like something he said at like a Bucky's meet and greet before he told everyone he'd buy him Bucky nuts and then split. You know, like
like when he went to that
Cuban
Cuban
food
restaurant
place.
or
Yeah.
something and promised everyone like food, and then 10 minutes later, like literally left.
Literally out the back door laughing. He's like,
I'm trying. I don't want to play the TikTok. I would like to find the list, but it's crazy. This list. It's
yeah.
literally like just eliminating everything, firing like dissolving like public
It's
education.
like dissolving the New York Times was like one of them or something. It's just like some really bizarre stuff.
But then
Um,
there's like no, there's like stuff where it's just like the country will not be the same if he got
yeah,
reelected. Uh it'd be like something you would hear about in the 80s. The United
right.
States is fighting this totalitarian country, like it's like he wants to turn us into the country that supposedly we
Yeah,
fight against. Let me see. Oh, that and again he'd be able to run a third term, and
yep,
then
yeah.
man.
It is. It's real scary.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it's like anti-immigration stuff, anti-trans, and then like dissolving like media, dissolving like just going after political like descendants, like real just scary shit, real like dictator shit. But like one of the funniest things actually of the night was when Vivek he wants to he repeat like Trump wants to do this too, end birthright citizenship.
Yeah,
Vivek is the result of birthright
yep.
citizenship.
He is. That is
So I
true.
guess if he got elected, he would have to leave
You have
afterward.
to leave. Yeah,
He has
he's
the loophole though, right? Because like his parent, like one of his parents, like an ambassador or something bullshit.
something like that. He seems to me like the Andrew Yang candidate for the
He's worse.
Republicans this time. Oh, he's worse, obviously, but like,
Andrew Yang at least tried to pretend he was like a nice guy.
yeah, well, and he did. I still appreciate him bringing that universal basic income to like the discussion. But it was good. It's good to talk about it.
Sure.
Uh, but but this guy just seems kind of like a joke candidate. It would
Yeah.
not stun me if he joins that no labels party when he loses
It
and
would
like,
not shock me if he just starts accepting crypto like Robert Kennedy is
yeah,
for,
something like that.
he's just a crypto scam artist. That's all. He's like, hey, it was crazy when he was on stage and he was talking about how NFTs are a great investment.
Yeah, yeah, that
Oh,
was
he didn't
really
say that.
different.
Yeah, he didn't say that. But did you see that? They're considered completely worthless now.
Oh,
NFT.
a lot of them, yeah. Yeah, that was so. I wonder when we're going to see like a Netflix show about that, you know, or
Oh God,
like
that
a
was that period of time made me just. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
mm,
This is insane. This literally was the tulip thing from
yeah, the bubble, the tulip
yeah.
bubble. Hmm.
So The other thing about this debate before we move on is the only thing that all of them could talk about, and they think that this is a winning thing, is the border.
Yeah.
So how much do you think about the border?
Well, I about as much as I think about ancient Rome, so daily. I I would say 0 times per day. I will say this, and here's my legit thing. I think this is probably a big deal to the cities on the border, or near the border, because I do know, and this is, and I want to be careful how I say it. Like if you're a town of like 1,000, small town on the border,
Yeah.
and then you're working your town like on 1,000, and then all of a sudden you get, you know, 70 new families in the town, and by law you got to educate the kids and everything, which is good and right and everything. All of a sudden it's like you don't have any money to do that. It's very difficult. Your budget's strained. You have a lot of problems that you didn't have before. And since we don't have a federal system of helping with that, a lot of those communities are left on their own, and that does have to be frustrating.
Okay, but and that is a that I understand, but like when you think of like the things you want this country to fix,
Yeah,
that is not anything. I don't think about
no.
it.
Well,
I'm not,
if I did, I'd want it fixed so that like there's an easy way for these people to come in and contribute.
right. A proper,
I mean,
like a real support system,
yeah.
as opposed to the Republicans. It's just like we want to shoot people on sight. Like,
Well,
I mean,
they want a certain number of them to come in and stay undocumented so they can use them as basically like indentured servants or something. I mean,
yeah, yeah, no, that's
that's
like Bush proposed that during his presidency. He wanted people to come in and then legally come in, but then get kicked out immediately when
yeah,
they're done. Like, come here,
when they're
make your
done
money, and
working.
get the fuck out.
So,
Which was a nice way of saying, "Come here, give us your cheap labor, and
but
we'll kick you out before you even try to
I
unionize."
don't understand why anyone outside of Southern California, Southern Arizona, Southern New Mexico, and Southern Texas. I don't understand why anyone cares about this.
Because
I
they're
mean, like
racist fucks.
that's it.
That's
That
it.
is. It's like
That is it. I'm sorry. Like this, all they did was talk about the border, and I'm like, no one's talking about healthcare. No one's talking about the environment. No
yeah,
one's talking about the economy. No one's talking about wages. No one's talking about. It's all about the border. Okay, what about it?
right.
Like, who gives a shit? First of all, they're lying about the border. They're lying about Biden. They're lying about like I always love when like they think this is a gotcha when they like tons of fentanyl is seized.
Right.
Like that's a win for Biden. You
It's
realize
got
that, right? Like
seized.
that's
Yeah.
not a like that. If tons of fentanyl got in the country, then that would be considered a failure.
Yeah.
But
It's also too like just some not misdirection, but like
of course, it's a misdirection.
it's real. If you've never tried drugs, it's easy to avoid trying drugs. You just don't try drugs, right?
Yeah,
And like if you start doing drugs, often there's a ton of shit that just makes it worse, like our weird criminal justice system, our lack of drug treatment, there's all sorts of things that make our drug problem worse. And so like immigration and maybe some fentanyl coming in from Mexico, that is way down on the list. If you fix the fentanyl problem, you're still going to have plenty of drug problems.
yeah.
I mean, it
It's
might.
just it's like you said, it's a distraction because they won't
It
talk
is.
about any real issues, and everything is about like how tough they would be on the border. Look, we put these death buoys in the water that would like maim people if they go near it.
Yeah,
It's like that's just okay. That's just cruel. That's not anything.
yeah,
That's not gonna, uh like I saw this footage of people getting into the country. It was like tons of barbed wire, and what they do is they just put a piece of cardboard under on top of them. They slide through. They
yeah.
just
It's
were like sliding the kid through and everything. I'm like, you know what? Good. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't ever think about the border. You know, it is non-issue. This country, like these
yeah,
people who claim to care about the border, are funded by people who love cheap labor from these people coming
Yeah.
into the country. So that
Well,
they're fighters.
and ultimately, and I'm not exaggerating here at all, for the last 10,000 years, like 10,000 years, the history of humanity is people moving towards resources. That's
Yeah.
the history of the world. That's when we all kind of
Or
sprouted
two.
up out of equatorial Africa like 10,000 years ago or whatever, and in that Neolithic era, uh it people moved towards good things and fled from bad things, and that's never going to change. You can put up all the imaginary dotted lines you want on a map, or you can put up walls or this, that, or whatever, but like people move towards resources. That's a biological
But
imperative.
and
That's
it's just yeah, but it's insane that the argument about the wall, like they just flat out lie about the Biden administration.
yeah,
I would say, if anything, the Biden administration is probably too cruel.
yeah, no, I do.
I
Yeah,
mean, like again, though, but I don't think about these fucking things. I don't think this is a real issue. I don't. I think
yeah,
there is an undeniable racist bent because we know it is because Trump was fine. He was like, I don't want people from shithole countries. Oh, people from Norway, come down here. And it's
yeah.
like, what? How do you
Well,
know people from Norway any good? I mean, it's like it's just straight up racism.
yeah. Well, I will. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch there. So an immigrant from Norway is likely to be wealthier because they have to get on an airplane to get here. I
Yeah,
mean, they're just likelier to have more resources. They probably will come and immediately start contributing. A lot of the people that come from the southern border aren't, because they have been ravaged by war or the drug trade or
yeah,
economic inequality or whatever. And so when they arrive here, they have few resources. They are a drain on society initially. That's just the position they're in. And a decent country would welcome them in and coach them through the process and give them a good start, and then ideally they thrive, because that's honestly how the world works. I don't know, and there's probably like other things at play here. Like if you probably could look at, I don't know, other things like letting people come in here, and then maybe one day they'd want to go home, and change things from where they're from. Oh,
well,
everything just seems
the
real
thing
short-sighted.
that the one thing though too that's really gross is when they usually don't though. I mean, that's usually
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that's fine. I don't really care. I don't really give a shit about that. The ending birthright citizenship thing is insane.
It's just like it's
That's
in the
insane.
Constitution. If you say you're willing to get rid of that, but the Second Amendment sacrosanct, your argument regarding that Second Amendment's just gone out the window.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
in
complete
the
bullshit. But the idea that you would kick someone out that is like been in the country entire life, speaks English
oh
as
yeah,
their main language, if not their only language, is completely assimilated to this country, only knows this country, would not
yep,
even be welcomed in the so-called country you want to send them back to. It's an insane, disgusting, and the fact that that slimebag piece of shit Vivek, who is the child of, I guess, immigrants or whatever,
yeah,
you go on stage. That just shows what a piece of garbage he is.
yeah, yeah. Mm.
So yeah, the second debate was a shit show. They're all fucking losers. That's the reality. Here, this is what I wrote it down earlier. It kind of like just sums up the debate. I said like the GOP debate last night was an absolute joke. Everyone on stage is a loser candidate. Donald Trump, who was not there, is still way in the lead, and he's an unhealthy trash bag criminal
Yep,
that will either be rotting in jail or dead by next year. The GOP's fucked in 2024. But
yeah,
remember, and I wrote, but remember, we can't get cocky. Corporate media wants a Republican president. Look how they downplayed Biden visiting the picket line and lied and helped lying about Trump supporting the union. They attacked Biden's age while giving geriatric sickly Trump a free pass.
yeah,
The
yeah.
idea that you would even give Trump the time of day. This guy tried ending like the country back in
I know.
2021 on January 6th. I mean, like this guy should just be a straight up in like a gulag somewhere, like
Yeah,
or fled the country. He should not even be considered a viable
right.
candidate.
Yeah,
It's
that doesn't make
absolutely
sense.
insane. Yeah, I think the Republicans are fucked because they tethered themselves way too much to Trump, and
Yep.
And the MAGA people, which I think is like 30% of the Republican vote, they're not going to vote for any of those people on that stage.
Yeah.
They're not.
No, they won't even consider it. So
they won't even believe that debates are real. But I mean, we didn't really talk about DeSantis too much because we want to talk about the news something real quick. How is the DeSantis's debate? Was he in a massive improvement?
No, it was weird. He was
weird. He made the weird face again.
He made the weird face again. He had that voice going all night. He really didn't get that much of an opportunity to speak. No one really attacked him, which I think he would have benefited from.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him get retaliatory. I think he went off on that veteran who questioned him and he got mad. I mean, like, that would show you you're tough. You know, go off on like Nikki Haley or something. I mean, I don't know.
He was very I think he needed something big to happen and he didn't. And that's it. I mean, he's kind of like in a corner now too, because all his best tricks haven't resonated with the national stage. And if he pivots, then he risks like looking inauthentic, but also alienating some of the very few people that have liked him, you know? So his whole appeal is supposed to be Trump without the craziness, but he's like crazier than Trump. So
he gave Biden an ad last night.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have it on here. He gave Joe Biden like let me see if I can find the clip.
Well, they were doubly clever because they made Ron DeSantis look like a moron, but also B, it made Ron DeSantis run ads against Trump.
Yep.
You know.
Here we go. Let me put it on real quick.
Donald Trump is missing in action. He should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record where they added $7.8 trillion to the debt. That set the stage for the inflation that we have now. I'm Joe Biden, and
I just realized I didn't have my freaking mic set up. I hope that it sounds okay.
I think it'll sound okay. I think it sounds good on this end.
Well, I'm putting it on now. It will sound like it's going to be like, I thought we were talking into a tin can the entire time.
Well,
now Dolby sound with this blue ball I have.
I think DeSantis needed a big win last night and he did not get it. I think he just got, he just was lost in the mix with all the others.
Well, he decided to agree or wanted to debate Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, in November on Sean Hannity. It's going to be a just the three of them. There's going to be no audience, which I think is a good thing because I think it would have just been packed with buds. And it's odd. It's a weird. Let me see if I sent you a clip. I thought it was pretty funny what Gavin Newsom said about about the idea of debating him.
Yeah.
The fact that he took the bait shows he's completely unqualified to be president. Why is he debating a guy who's not even running for president?
Yeah. It did seem.
I know you said that
way.
You said that it legitimizes DeSantis by debating this, but no, it makes no sense. Like, why would you debate somebody who is not running for president? Like, does he want to run for president? I mean, people are talking about it, but he's not.
Where I was coming from was that it made it to me. It made it seem like Newsom was elevating DeSantis as being better than the other candidates. But I do see what you mean. I think
that's what DeSantis is hoping from this, but I don't know. I think it's gonna sink him. I think he's gonna end up looking like a fool.
Well, I especially given these last two debate performances, and given all of Newsom's recent appearances, Newsom looks smart, articulate, relatable, fun. Looks like he's having a good time. Even in hostile territory, I saw Newsom with Hannity, and Newsom looked like he was having a blast. Ron DeSantis always looks petty, aggrieved, lizard-like. He looks all these terrible things, and he's terrible on his feet, and he can't think straight, and he can't defend his policies. So I think it's going to go very poorly for him, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm
So
trying to
first,
find the clip, but yeah, it's really funny. Newsom's like making fun of him and everything. Like, yeah, I don't know why he's agreeing to this debate, but okay, so the reality is like, the right wing and DeSantis, everything, they've been running on this whole like, oh, California is this shithole, Florida's this amazing state. And it's like Florida's the free state. Florida's this. I'm like, no, Florida is taking away rights. Florida
yeah,
is like,
yeah.
you can't even get insurance there. Like,
Another interesting thing is that Newsom has said this a few times now, that whenever Ron DeSantis picks statistics to defend Florida, he picks statistics from like 6 years ago, which isn't like
when
a
he
million
wasn't
years ago.
when he wasn't the governor.
Yeah, it's like from right when he took over, and that's the always quotes statistics from like 2018 or something. And I thought that was interesting, and I think that's probably real true. Florida right now is a bit of a disaster. I mean, there's a lot going on there. It's a very difficult place to own a home, or to maintain a full job, or to get insured. And I think that there's something there.
Well, here's Newsom. This is a quick clip.
Governor DeSantis.
You gotta ask Sean. You gotta ask DeSantis. I don't know why he's debating a governor of California. I mean, again, that is so disqualifying on his behalf. He put out an ad today, not about his debate for president, and an ad about debating me. This guy's eye is so off the ball that it really makes you wonder. Well, oh wait, it doesn't make you wonder why he's belly flopped in the polls. It actually makes sense.
All right.
Man, he's doing like a shoot like a wrestler. He's just like he just tore him apart.
Yeah. Well, and he did it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
If Ron DeSantis did something like that, his little hands would be all clenched, and he'd be like trembling, and his voice would get all
smile he does.
Yeah.
The thing is, dude, it's like Newsom's like, it's good because he'll go out and defend the record of California, and he'll be like, he said it multiple times, like, no, California is the true free state. We don't attack people for like this. You can be whatever religion you want. You can be whatever this. We have, we don't ban books here. We don't,
right.
I mean, I'm sure there's parts of California that would love to, because there's some real red areas, but that doesn't matter. It's like, so I'm looking forward to this debate, but I don't know, maybe DeSantis might come out some whoppers. I have no idea.
We'll see.
This looks like it's gonna be a fucking train wreck where Newsom's a train. He's literally running over a dead body, like, which is DeSantis, because
that'd be funny.
So DeSantis didn't help himself in this. I saw like Ben Shapiro trying to defend him on like hit, and I'm like, you can't make him. I think that ship has sailed. I mean, like, again, I still think DeSantis is a threat until he drops out.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because I could see the media, the corporate-owned media wants a Republican. They want to push that narrative that Biden is old. They see there's unions, there's strikes everywhere. The was it UAW thing is huge. That's a massive. And then there was like, I don't know, did the UPS thing happen?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I have not been following that.
Thing's huge. I was down in the post office, and I was talking to the mailman, not the mail, the postal worker. We're talking about it. Said, you're going to get all these idiots are going to come in, and they're going to expect you to pack their box. Because they don't do that.
Yeah, basically.
Come in and have everything set up. But UPS or Kinko's, you could just show up literally with like a pair of shoes, and they will
box it for you.
They're all gonna come in, literally with like a ceramic jar, and be and the postal worker is gonna be like
a plate of cookies. A plate of
like they're gonna expect all that service, and it's gonna be really fucking annoying. It's gonna be a bunch of like Karens losing their fucking mind on some poor postal workers. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of like, people have been getting the shaft for years. There was that great video I sent you. That guy who was doing like the conversation between like the person who works in fast food and the person who doesn't. Like, guy's like, that's not a real job. He's like, it is a job. I love when he's like, what the fuck do you even care?
Right.
Like, what the fuck do you even care? Like, what do you make for a living? You know, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. You know, like it's really funny, but like,
Well, it is weird that people say it's not a real job or it's supposed to be a transitional job, but like, why? Like, why is that?
they have to put up with
I
so
mean,
much shit.
and it's like, well, then what is a real job then? It's like being a cashier at Target a real job? Well, what about like changing someone's oil or all
Yeah,
sorts
like
of like,
when does it become a real job? Like,
yeah, is like,
what
I
do
mean,
you?
I get that like to repair HVAC machines, you need to go through like a 6-month training course, but like, and I don't mean to, I'm not, this is going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm not, but like to work at a Burger King, you have to go through like 12 hours of training. I mean, like, I don't understand like why there's
You have to go to hamburger school. I saw that movie.
hamburger you.
And at the
Well,
Hamburger University, that movie was 80s movie. Sex.
no, but there's
It's
like
great.
plenty of places where you have to get like a food handler's license or you have to go through OSHA training or whatever. And it's like, I just don't understand why flipping a burger, so to
Because
speak, is
it is the funny thing about the fast food industry is it works in favor of paying people less by they themselves are the ones that sold the
yeah,
bullshit. Like this is supposed to be just like a leg up. This is supposed to like we'll help you get into college. We'll help
right.
you, you know, do this. And the reality is that that was one of the greatest cons
Yeah.
places ever pulled was because they tricked people into thinking, oh yeah, like I'm not supposed to make a living here. And if I am working here and in my 30s, I'm a fucking loser. Or
Yeah.
if I'm even older, then you know, people gonna think like there's something mentally deficient about me. Like
Yeah.
there's something they themselves helped create that narrative to downplay that this is a job.
Yeah.
And that's all food related stuff. I mean, like, and you know, there's some classism behind it. Like, how is the person working at McDonald's any different than like the person working at a restaurant? I mean, like, they still
Yeah.
have to prepare your food. They have to like, if anything, the joke is the food at McDonald's is probably cleaner than like
Probably.
90% of the fucking restaurants you go to. But I don't know if that's true, but
Well, I'll bet you it might be because they probably have good procedures. I
probably
don't know if they're
depends
always
on.
followed, but
I bet it's depending on if it's a franchise owned one or a McDonald's one. You
true.
know what I mean? Like an
Yeah.
actual McDonald's brand one. Uh the reality is that like they created this, they themselves helped create this narrative that this isn't a real job. But then our economy changed, and I feel like this is where you started to see a lot of this change happen during the Bush years, where it was like people were getting laid off and they can't get a job. And now you're seeing like people in their mid 40s, 50s getting a job at like a fast food place. And
Yeah.
those people are working there and they're like, you know what? I do need health insurance. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
showing up every fucking day to work. I'm doing my fucking job. I need health insurance. I do
Right.
want, like some kind of 401k. I would like to have more than a quarter raise every 3 years. Like
Yeah.
this is my fucking job. And I feel like there's these idiots that still have this old timey bullshit belief of like, oh, I just did this during the summer to save up to get a used car so I could fucking my
Well,
girlfriend before I went to college. And like that's an old timey story. And I don't think
yeah.
that exists anymore. It's like, no, these are. And then another thing too, it's like the lie, like, oh, no one wants to work. Yeah, well, people don't want to have to travel like 20 miles to a job that pays them $8 an hour.
Yeah. It doesn't make any
They're
sense.
literally working to drive to the job.
Yeah.
If they're lucky, if the job even covers their gas.
Yeah.
Like or eating or anything. So I think that's a real argument to be made. It is a real job. Like
Yeah.
is it the same job as like an ENT? No, but I always said this about the we'll move on after this. If your lowest paid worker is making so little, then why are you shocked that you're not making much?
Yeah. There's that. And to me, ultimately, it's like, well, does McDonald's make a lot of money?
Yeah,
I think it does. So like, where's this money going?
they
Like,
keep
why?
raising the price of the food every time. It is
If
like gone up. Like a lot of fast food
yeah,
places, shit has doubled.
if you tell me that the McDonald's is generating like thousands of dollars a day, then like, well, how much of that money's going to the people that do McDonald's? like to make it work. Well, why is it? I mean, I'll bet you it's a very small percentage. So where's that other?
Yeah,
Where's that
that's
other
all
money
food
going?
places. Let's not pick on old poor McDonald's here. Ronald's doesn't deserve all the blame.
You know,
But I know what you mean. It's like the Coke of that.
yeah,
It's the generic thing,
yeah,
But yeah, exactly. And I just wish people didn't realize that. It's like you're like, hey, teachers' salaries are down. Yeah, but like, because they could get away with it. Because they could claim, oh, you
yeah,
make more than the guy at Burger King or whatever. Yeah, well, now the guy at Burger King
right.
is making like $18 to $20 an hour. And you claim that that's not a real job, but mine's supposedly a real job. Mine is a real job. I have to take care of people's kids and school and shit. If you're a teacher or whatever, kindergarten or nursery school and like that, they pay those people like shit, nursery schools and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But it would force them to bring up the salary, because then people would be like, wait, I'm making $12 an hour doing this?
Yeah.
I'm going to go work at the fucking whatever In and Out and make like $25 an hour? Okay.
Yeah. It would also free some people up. I'm sure there's people that have jobs they absolutely hate that would prefer to work at a Starbucks, and they just can't because of the money. I mean, like, I don't know. It just, the whole thing seems like,
I think this, I don't know, the way this country's designed is all fucked up. The fact that we have these guys that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, should not have that money. We're paying. The fact that people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos exist, we're paying for that. We're all paying. Our
They're
society
subsidizing it.
is just completely crumbling slowly but surely because these people exist and they're parasites. They just are.
Yeah.
And that idea that you would argue with somebody saying like that their job doesn't validate even just the basic livable wage.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, windmills, they kill whales.
Well, we did cover this a little bit before.
We don't have to talk about that, but okay. So Trump,
big court loss.
So what happened in this one?
The state of New York found him to have conducted business fraudulently for the last 10 years, and they put Trump Corp, the Trump organization, into receivership, and it's not going to be a thing much anymore.
What does that mean?
They're going to dissolve the company, and they have to. From what I understand, they dissolve the company, they sell off its assets, and then they distribute those assets to the people that were harmed. And he was fined a great deal by the state, so I don't know how much his empire is going to be left. It's apparently a really big deal.
This jackass never ran for president. He'd probably be fine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he would have gotten away with everything.
He would have been taking Scrooge McDuck style money baths in this giant vault every night, But
yeah, maybe not. Maybe he wasn't worth that much, and he knew this was the only way he can grift and stuff.
Yeah, but I think he knew enough so that he could make money, like appearing on shows or doing this, that, or whatever. But he's lost the ability to do that.
Well, and then he went to I guess a gun show or something and bought a gun. And I've heard smart people that may said that that's illegal because he's like a convict or something.
Well, if you're out,
technically a criminal.
He's out on bail. I don't think he's technically a criminal, but he's been accused of a crime. He's been arraigned. He's out on bail. Generally, when you're out on bail, you can't buy guns.
Yeah, and he was like bragging about it. Then they within I don't know, a few minutes or a couple of hours or whatever, they quickly were like, no, that was a joke.
Yeah.
He didn't really buy it. He didn't really buy it. No. They
tried to clean it up quickly, but the horses had left the barn by that point. So I don't know. I mean, I would think he should get charged for this. I'm sure they're thinking it'd be overkill because he's got a lot of other charges, but I would make it a point to charge him with this. If they're going to charge Hunter Biden with something like a gun crime, then they should do this too.
Well, let's just talk about that real quick, and then we'll move on. Since you brought up Hunter Biden, the worst thing that ever happened in this country,
the scourge of the Eastern Seaboard.
It's our border. It's our border. The border and Hunter Biden. Those are the real problems.
Yeah.
I can't put food on my table. That's because of the border and Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Hunter
Yeah.
border Biden.
Mm. All right. So what about Hunter?
You tell me. You said he's suing Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, he is suing Rudy Giuliani because Rudy Giuliani accessed Hunter Biden's private data off that computer. And
Was he spanking to it?
It's a pretty big lawsuit.
Probably.
I don't know why he didn't do this sooner. Hunter Biden should have sued the hell out of anyone associated with that.
I mean, I'm sure some of these things take a while, you know?
Yeah, true.
I mean,
True.
people like Trump will say they're going to sue you because one, it's like a distraction, and they usually they don't go anywhere. If you really want to sue someone, you don't announce it until it actually happens,
right?
You know, because usually these clowns like Tulsi Gabbard, like she's gonna sue Hillary Clinton, and it's like it doesn't even make it to discovery because then it would prove that Hillary was right about her being an ass from Russia, you know, like they just have to like look up like one thing. It's like, wait, you're getting a check from who? So, well, I mean, what will come out of that? I mean, Rudy Giuliani is like a joke. He's not. I don't think Biden's going to see a dime from him.
But I think if you have a judgment that hangs over your head, and you're not going to be able to make a lot of money without that party getting at it first.
What, it shuts up Giuliani, basically?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent. Yeah. And it also kind of serves as a marker to anyone else around, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Like, I sue him, I'll go after you too. Like,
yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right, well, this one's a big one. Biden went to the UAW pickup line. They said pickup line. Hey, any chicks around the pickup line?
Right.
Out with the pickup artist. Oh, weird. I didn't expect that. Biden was peacocking.
Well, he did, and obviously
that's never happened before. That's the first president to do that.
Yeah.
I felt like the media was like downplaying it. Like they weren't like, it's like they don't want this. They don't want that to happen. They don't want like people to be like, wait, that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. I think the media is still trying to feel how they figure about a lot of this stuff. But I wish it had been a little more elevated.
It's a big deal.
It's
a huge deal him going to this. Like this will solidify support. This will, I mean, having the president go to a union, I guess, with picket line, like that shows like that just, even if Biden does nothing with this, it doesn't matter. The message is out there.
Yeah.
That guy spoke. He gave that guy, like Biden being there, and that guy, the leader or whatever, got to speak while he was there. It just elevates everything. It's a big fucking deal.
It is. And Biden needs to win states like Michigan and the things in the former Rust Belt. He
Ohio will like wake the fuck up.
I'm not holding my breath, but maybe, you know.
I mean, you just need like a couple percentages and that's it.
Yeah.
But Trump did the same thing. According to the media, he also went to go support the picket line, right? Didn't he do that?
I think so.
No, he didn't.
Who are you talking about?
Trump.
Oh, Trump. No, he went to the.
What did you think I said?
Well, Biden went, and he was the only one to march on a picket line. I thought you were talking about previous presidents.
No, I'm talking about Trump went to anti-union shop
at the invitation of management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess one of my favorite things was, and I love when people are like, really, you're shocked by this? Like, let me see if I can find it. I posted about this. Porn stars Rick Harrison was at the Trump's non-union shop rally. And I wrote, I can't believe the guy rips off people on a reality show as a Trump supporter. Really shocked the porn star guy would be a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I love that makes perfect sense. They get someone to come in and they're like, I have this thing, I want this amount. All right, let me get my expert. The expert comes and then like tries to
Yeah.
downplay how valuable it is.
Right.
He's like, the best I could do is like
Yeah.
$16.
A lot of people don't know this, but they printed a whole bunch of these Honus Wagner baseball cards. I would say that,
It's like, what is there, like 2 left? And they're worth
yeah,
like
something like
$1
that.
each. Superman, actually, comics #1.
Right.
I mean, like they made millions of those back in the day.
Yeah. This one may have appreciated up to maybe 3 times the cover price. So
30 cents. Best I could do, $50.
yeah.
It's a huge markup. Look at that, dude.
Right.
You're killing it here, buddy.
All profit.
I don't even know how I could. I don't even know how I, porn star guy, could keep this business afloat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Trump.
They were holding up like fake signs that they were part of the union. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, so weird.
It's disgusting. Trump is anti-labor. He's not a populist. He's not pro-labor. He's not pro. He could say that he's for jobs and whatnot. He's not.
Yeah, he isn't. I know he's smart enough to know he needs to appeal to that type of voter. You know what I mean? Like that's how he won, and he knows the map for Republicans is shrinking. So he does need to do something to pick up voters in Wisconsin or Michigan or Minnesota.
You don't need health care or a pension or a raise.
Right.
I made sure that child in that high school in Florida could participate in the female sports.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. You're a godsend.
Yeah. It's bananas.
I have cancer and I need treatments. I don't have health care. But that border's out of control. But don't worry, I'm gonna put up a big fence. Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. I'll go die over here.
Yeah, that's so good.
I'm so like, come on, man, wake the fuck up, dude. The guy, like, I don't know. Like I said, talking about the Republican debates, is like, I just can't believe like how much he's completely like just fuck that. Like the funny thing is, even if he was completely out of the picture, that debate would be better.
Oh yeah. It was boring to begin with, but without Trump, it would just be like boring and directionless. Trump at least gave it some contours of a definition.
That's why he was able to like clobber everyone in 2016, because it's like that's a debate without what we're seeing is 2016 debates if Trump wasn't there.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah. So, here we go. Almost a couple more left. Senator Menendez.
Oh yeah.
What did this guy do?
This
lovable guy from Jersey.
The theory is, or the accusation
right?
is, no, he's a Democrat.
No, I was saying that like media channels should do what Fox does. Like a Republican got caught doing something,
right? And
all of a sudden they had a D in front of their name. I remember when that guy who had the wide stance, who was giving blowjobs in the bathroom, whatever.
Yeah, Larry something.
All of a sudden he was a Democrat on Fox News. It was crazy. Like that, they put a D right in front of his name.
Well, with this
when he got in the airport bathroom.
This person is supposed to Menendez is supposed to have taken bribes from Egypt. And they found a bunch of
crazy shit there, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Gold bars,
tons of cash, this, that, and whatever. And
steaks.
Right. And Menendez is like, no, like this is all my money. I get a lot of money from different sources. And so I mean, I guess they'll fight it out in court. But the thing is that like by now tons of Democrats are asking him to resign.
Yeah, John Fetterman was like the first big one, literally huge, to like come out, just outright say like he needs to go. Like, I mean, like, the dude's got like, what do you have, like $500,000 in his house?
Yeah, something like that, and a lot of cash.
He has money in other places. And I think Nancy Pelosi finally came out and said he needs to go.
I think so, but I think Chuck Schumer hasn't, if I remember right.
Such a fucking win.
Well,
Chuck Schumer. I mean, the thing is, like, this guy goes, and you will have they'll just put another Democrat in. It's Democratic governor. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about like the Senate flipping. Just get rid of him. You can't go after Trump and talk about
Yeah.
how cool he is and then be okay with this guy. You just can't. I mean, like Republicans don't care. They would do that. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But Democrats can't. We're not supposed to do that. You know? Did you see that? What's his face came out and defended him? I haven't seen this guy in a while.
Who?
The Volder. I know his real name. What's the Sanchez? What's his name? The Republican guy who has like 8 names. He's like a drag queen. He had like another name.
Oh, George Santos. Yeah.
George Santos. Yeah, that guy. He came out in defense of him. I was
Well,
like, that's so fucking funny.
Marco Rubio said he shouldn't
Yep.
resign. A lot of because Republicans, of course, want the Democrats to, go down to the lowest common denominator. But
Well,
I
they
don't know.
also it's like the whole thing. Maybe they're collecting money too.
Yeah.
I suppose if he goes, then it like opens the door to like investigations into other people.
I hope this guy resigns. He should. I don't think
He
he
should just
will.
resign. I
Yeah.
think he will. He will at some point. I think that it's not like he was jerking off somebody at a
Right.
something.
See, Biden should just send someone over to his house and say, like, look, if you drop out, and don't be a distraction,
I'll give you a gold bar. You can have an
Yeah.
extra gold bar.
I'll give you the deed to Broken Car, Arizona. Or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he should drop out.
Town, Pennsylvania.
He can always say, like, look, I'm going to focus on defeating these charges or defending myself against these charges, and when I do and I'm victorious, then I'm going to run again or whatever. It's a bunch of stuff he could do.
Al Franken left. There was like an accusation against him.
Yeah.
He never went anywhere, and it was a hit job. And Roger Stone and freaking Sean Hannity and this Republican woman.
Yeah, it was a setup.
Yeah, it was. I guess the thing was, I suppose it was like other women were going to come out. But again, it was a setup. It was around the time of that important election where Doug Jones defeated a pedophile by like a half percentage point in Alabama.
Right.
But then he was eventually replaced by a potato, a literal potato. But yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, dude, just resign, man. Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. Absolute power.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he should resign if he believes in the Democratic cause at all. He should resign and let the governor put in.
I bet he'll be gone by next week. It wouldn't shock me.
I hope so. I mean, like honestly, I hope he's innocent. I mean, but I doubt it. Kind of. It's just it sucks. I mean, like Democrats don't need that minor headache. I don't think anyone's really following it super closely, but I still don't think the Democrats needed that headache.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's see what else we got here. Elon election integrity team.
Yeah.
Fired.
Well, you told me this. What was the basic story on this?
Oh man, now I gotta look this up.
Well, I looked it up a little bit, and he did have one of the working teams was election integrity, which is a special team kind of devoted to looking at political misinformation. And from what I understand, Elon Musk is like, well, we don't need that anymore.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, confirm. Elon Musk has fired the entire election integrity team at X. The unit created to identify threats from foreign and domestic sources manipulating our elections. I mean, dude, this guy doesn't give a shit that like his users are being executed in Saudi Arabia. He said nothing about that. He hasn't said a damn thing.
It's so weird. I mean, I get why he's doing this. He kind of wants chaos and some sort of weird libertarian candidate to emerge as a consensus choice. But
yeah,
I don't know. He's such garbage, Elon Musk.
He really is. Yeah, go ahead. What?
I was gonna say he could do so much good, with his money, but like,
well, that's the funny thing. Back in the day, he would try to claim to do all this good, and then he never did any of it. He never followed through with it. And it was found out he was a fraud. And now he's like, well, now that I'm like a MAGA chud, I don't have to be good at all. Yeah. Like, I get praised for being a huge piece of shit.
Yep.
Like Elon's like slick back hair, sloppy steaks,
white Ferrari.
Like, he's like, I'm now a piece of shit. Like, a huge piece. I mean, Adam Schiff, I saw that Elon Musk has fired half of the election integrity team at X, allowing election misinformation to fester on this platform. Opens our democracy up to further attack and disinformation, but Elon seems fine with that.
Yeah. Well, the instability is part of the charm for him, or
I
part
just
of the
think it's
appeal.
crazy that, and again, I think that, he got a lot of money from investors from Saudi Arabia and Russia, and they want this to be dismantled. They don't want
True.
They don't want this platform to exist.
That's depressing.
I'm wondering though. Oh, did you hear too the new thing? Supposedly soon you'll have to verify your information. You have to give your license to Twitter, and it's done for like this company in Israel.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That actually goes through. Did I send you that video TikTok, right? With the CEO, that woman that he hired?
Yeah, and she's just sitting there fielding questions, and
he asked him about like what was the question she asked? Let me say it. It's really fucking funny. Hold on. I sent it to you earlier.
Was this the one about the paid users?
Linda Yaccarino is not confirming if the company plans to go to an all subscription model.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Elon Musk just announced a new monthly fee for users.
Yeah.
And my question for you is, do you want to start charging all users of X, as he said, and how many users do you think you will lose as a result?
Can you repeat?
Elon Musk announced
it's the first time she heard that.
Right. Service. Yeah. Nothing free about using X.
Did he say we were moving to it specifically, or is thinking about it?
He said that's the plan.
Yeah.
So did he consult you before he announced that?
We talk about everything.
Elon Musk just announced.
Clearly, not everything.
Right. Not everything.
She's a joke anyway. She's not. She's there to like. She's there to like just.
She's like a yes person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke. That was her going. Oh God, like, and then the other thing was he went down to the border today.
Yeah, to like Eagle Pass, Texas, I believe.
Like, why?
It just
and he's wearing like this dumbass hat and like aviator glasses or whatever.
This seems like so overtly political. You know what I mean? Like he made such a big deal about how politics needed to get out of X, but like everything he's done since saying that has been pretty political in my estimation.
Everything's political from him. He's a whole
Twitter has no interest in what's going on in the US at the end of that paragraph. I mean, like that's it does. He's simply inserting himself. Like the general people don't care about that huge paragraph he wrote on Twitter, where at the end he's like, why do people care more about the Ukrainian border than the border, the south of the US?
Literally like out of like Ted Cruz's mouth or something, or Rand Paul. I mean, it's just like repeating, and again, it's like, dude, you are literally pushing Russian propaganda, which is crazy. The government's gonna be shut down by a bunch of Republicans who are using the Ukraine thing as a reason to shut it down. Which is like, dude, these people need to be investigated.
Yeah.
Like,
well, who's gonna investigate? You get to the point where, okay, so you go after Trump because Trump committed a bunch of crimes, and that makes sense. But now you have like, I'm not kidding, like probably half of the Republicans in the US Senate are probably guilty of something like this.
Yeah.
And so then if you get the FBI to investigate all of them, it starts to look bad. Even though it's the right thing to do, it just starts to look bad.
Maybe it could be done behind the scenes, and then when they actually have something real, they could go after, like, start chipping away at the worst ones before.
Or the Department of Justice can at least come out and say, like, look, we investigated and these people are all guilty. We understand that it's like not practical to charge everyone, but like these are our indictments. These are what we think happened.
There's a interesting, I saw some TikTok a little while ago. I don't know if I shared it with you or not, where someone pointed out and said when the Republican Party shifted to becoming all of a sudden Putin lovers.
Yeah.
Around the time during the 2016 election when there was a hack on the GOP server.
Okay.
And it was hacked by Russia. And all of a sudden, these anti-Russia politicians completely shifted over because
Right.
clearly they have all kinds of crazy shit on these guys.
That makes sense.
And this is the older ones, not the crazy ones that came in later. We're talking like,
Senator Kennedy and
like or Lindsey Graham, like the ones that have been around for a couple years. Around 2016, they're around, but Marjorie Taylor Greene's later on. She's clearly a puppet of like Russian propaganda. But
the compromise on Tommy Tuberville's got to be amazing. I think.
Well, it's like I mean, do they even have to do much? Like you said, the guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think he just. I think if they like pulled his internet search history, it's probably query after query after query of how that little bird keeps drinking water. Like
and the water doesn't disappear.
Right, it's like that little device where the water, the bird goes.
Bird, it has a hard time swallowing.
It's probably like night after night him researching how that works. Like
I gotta get to the root of this problem. He got they steamrolled him on that military thing, right?
They did. They did.
For him.
Well, they allowed vote on those things, and some people got put into place. And then Tuberville is like, he has like this stupid little thing that he thinks is a gotcha, where he's like, they could have done that anytime they wanted. Why didn't they do that before? It's like just so stupid. Like if you invited me to your house and I like repeatedly shit on your couch, and then at some point you're like, look, you can't come over here anymore, and I'm like, haha, I got you. Like you.
Yeah,
I proved my point by. It's such a
like Grand Admiral Thrawn being like, well, I wanted to be
similar, yeah.
That gave me time to do this other thing. I'm so
I don't know, but it is. I guess getting back to your Elon Musk thing, like all of these things are kind of coming to a head. Like this, I don't want to say it's a made-up crisis at the border, but it's a greatly exaggerated crisis at the border. And the Elon taking more rules off of Twitter and allowing more chuds to kind of run free. It's just like, it seems like things are coalescing into the Republican strategy for the next election.
The New York Post,
oh God,
classy paper, had a story about how Elon Musk escalated ketamine use, exposing his erratic behavior.
All right.
I
believe it, but I believe it, but I think he'd be erratic anyway. But he would also be erratic on a placebo.
What?
He would also be erratic on a placebo.
Alcohol-free beer. He'd get
right.
Zero alcohol.
Yeah. When I taught, I had a kid in one of my classes who got an energy drink from a gas station, but it had a marijuana leaf on it, and it was like supposed to be made from hemp. Zero
bullshit.
He like pounded it in the morning and then pretended to be stoned all day. Like,
oh God. So
that's
AOC said something pretty funny though about the whole thing about, like, I guess there's this politician that was accompanying some Texas politician, GOP, accompanying Elon Musk there, and he's not there to vote on like that's one less vote for
the immigration.
And like laughing, she's like, you're too busy fucking around. That's one less vote for McCarthy in this thin ass majority they have.
Jeez, that's hilarious.
There's a rumor that McCarthy will probably, I mean, I keep hearing this, so we'll see. It's like one of those, will it happen or not? But supposedly next week, there's a good chance that McCarthy might be out as Speaker of the House.
I have heard that. Funny. I've heard that. I don't know how the Republicans will, because like they can only afford to lose a few votes. Certainly McCarthy has some allies, right? Like,
I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene was like his loudest ally during the initial votes on him.
Is McCarthy going to vote for this other person? Like, they're going to need every vote.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, if McCarthy and like two of his friends go with the Democrats, they can put McCarthy right back in power. Or they could put like
Hakeem Jeffries in power.
Yeah. I mean, they could, I mean, it's just like, it seems like such a weird gambit. Like the Republicans do this all the time. they get a small fraction of power, and then they act like they have a mandate to get whatever they want. They
Yeah,
have
I mean,
no
Bush did
interest
that. Bush and Trump did that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no,
It's
Democrat. I mean, that's always the same bullshit. The Democrat wins also now with bipartisanship is so important. But when a Republican wins, we're supposed to accept the fact that like they're a bunch of like dictators and it's their
yeah.
way. We're
I
all
don't know.
we just have to hope that the next 4 years are quick and painless.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, anyway. Yeah. Anything else on the on Elon?
I mean, he's just a clown. I don't know. It's just a shame that he has as much influence as he does. It's just bizarre. Like I said, if you told me like 10 years ago
Right.
that he would be this like insane, like right wing chud,
Yep.
I'd be like, I mean, I don't know if I'd be shocked. I'll tell you this though, I remember people would like kiss this guy's ass. And not even back in the day when he was like during the Obama years, I was like, we shouldn't have to rely on this one guy. Like, I even said it, like, he's not making mass vehicles for the masses. He's still just making like luxury cars. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't.
I would say 10 years ago, I thought pretty highly of him. But yeah, ever since, it's been steadily. Yeah.
And it's just insane how like you don't even hear about like SpaceX anymore or like Mars or any of these so-called plants. It's all shit like this now.
Yeah.
I'm going down the board. It's like, why? What the fuck do you need to be down there? You're not a politician. What the fuck are you gonna do? Like,
right. And what is it to you? Like, is this
what
really
you're looking for new workers in your plant?
is this really the hill you want to like make your stand on? Something that's gonna like quickly alienate like a third of the country at least, so
I just think it's insane how the Republican Party has like fully embraced this guy.
Yeah.
And like he's like up there with like all the other chuds. It's bizarre.
It is.
It's really weird. It's not like this guy could run for president or anything. They're not gonna
I don't
change.
think so. Yeah. Yeah, he can't.
It's not like he would win.
No.
He's like talks all weird and like sounds bizarre. Like,
yeah, he's off-putting in longer formats. If you just hear a quick clip from him, he probably sounds okay, but the more you hear of him, the less enticing or engaging he is.
Unlike Ron DeSantis, who's off.
Man, one word out of his mouth.
Off-putting. He's on pudding. He loves it. He's scooping pudding on the debate stage. Speaking of scooping pudding,
yeah.
Boebert. I don't know how those things connect. So yeah, she's still around.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Nick Adams. So Nick Adams this is the last thing we're going to talk about. Nick Adams is a cartoon character who
basically
he's like a right-wing grifter. He's from Australia. He constantly talks about like alpha males to the point where it's really pathetic and weird. Like he would say like real alpha men eat like drink with the boys and eat at Hooters.
Yes.
Like it's just real lame. Like people like real music is Kid Rock versus like someone actually good. Like it's almost the point where it's like, okay, is this a joke? But I think he gave away the game the other day when he tweeted. Let me see if I can find it. It's really, it's very funny.
It was really good.
I think he gave away the game. He had a picture of Lauren Boebert and a picture of Taylor Swift. And he wrote, "Raise your daughters to be classy like Lauren Boebert, not trashy like Taylor Swift." And there's like classy under Boebert, and Boebert's like laughing and pointing her finger. And then there's trashy, and it's just like a photo of Taylor Swift wearing like a jacket. It's
not a great photo, but like she's beautiful.
And it's like, okay, this guy just gave away the game. Like this is a joke. Like this can't be real. This guy is a grifter. Like what?
Who was the Andy Kaufman alias? Tony, what's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the like foul mouth, like racist, sexist, like talk show host or whatever.
Yeah, this basically feels like that, like a Andy Kaufman style caricature.
It's so ridiculous. So you were saying, or I guess what we were talking about, your theory is that he is a right winger,
Yeah.
but he's trying to get like, because there are all these like these accounts out there that are they're not right wingers. These accounts, they're
Right.
parodies of right wingers. Like there's
Yeah.
like Brent Theroux, he does the MAGA guy. He's like that redheaded dude, and he pretends to be like a MAGA guy. He's a comedian, and it's like helped elevate his career. He's funny. And then there's this other dude, that Gary Peterson USA.
Yeah, he's real
like they're
funny.
all like these fake accounts. So this guy's probably like, okay, well, eventually Trump's gonna be out of the picture. I am not going to be able to grift all these people if I just keep getting to the point where I'm like a joke of myself.
Yeah.
Then he can compete with those actual jokes.
I just know, like, I think you're right. I think that's it. I think from my perspective, like if I read Diamond and Silk tweet or whatever, it just pisses me off. Or if I read a lot of like MAGA Chud tweets, it just pisses me off.
Well, you can't read a Diamond Silk tweet.
Right.
Why?
But a Diamond tweet. But if I read his stuff, if I'm looking at these Nick Adamses, they're so funny and they're like so completely over the top that I'm almost like, it's not self-deprecating humor. It's a real weird kind of humor. He's like, he probably believes these things, but he exaggerates them so much so that even people that hate that type of content are like, oh yeah, that is
like
what I think.
Ben Garrison cartoon or something.
Yeah.
It's like they're so bad and like they're hideous, but they're funny because they are like cartoony. Like there's this other right-wing cartoonist, and Tim Pool has him on. You've probably seen it. It looks more like it's drawn on a computer. It's like literally. Those are just foul and disgusting. They're not funny. They're disgusting. They usually they push all kinds of hideous transphobia. That guy's a piece of shit. But Ben Garrison, there's like a little bit of like a charm in there. It's like, you have to give Nancy Pelosi huge tits. Like, was that necessary? It's funny. Like, it makes the whole thing kind of like, it's like you're looking at, I think the message is off and it's terrible, but it's like a magazine and you can't get really mad at it. And Nick Adams is kind of like becoming that, where it's like, okay, because the idea that Taylor Swift is trashy and Lauren Boebert, who literally got caught owning vapes, fat vapes, dry jerking her off her boyfriend while he rubbed her tits in the Beetlejuice play where children are. That would be the opposite of classy. I think. I don't know. Maybe Nick Adams is serious and he really believes that.
No, I think
classy.
Nick Adams is like a Ned Flanders character. Like, of course, I don't like Ned Flanders, but like he's so over the top that you kind of come back to
Ned Flanders. Ned Flanders.
Well, if you had like someone who's always praying and has twins, and like that, but like,
I mean, this guy's just a straight up MAGA grifter. I just think he's becoming a little too in on the joke now. Like, because
I wonder, like, even MAGA chuds are going to be like, okay, well, you're making fun of me now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
even like the Brent Theroux thing, it took me like 2 times watching to realize, like, oh wait, this is a joke, and now he's become just complete, like his character's a complete joke. Like he's not even trying. In the beginning, it was like it didn't seem like a joke when he was doing the MAGA guy. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then like the Gary Peterson, same thing. It was a little up, and now it's like way off to the point where it's like, okay, this is a complete joke.
Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah.
I tweeted, I said, this is actually really funny. The idea that Boebert is classy. Taylor Swift is trashy. It's like so bizarre.
Well, even like Boebert would probably be like, okay, stop. This isn't helping me. Like this is
because like even if the situation didn't happen in Denver with her at the Beetlejuice, it would still be funny.
Still be funny.
Because she is trashy and gross and like like I don't know. Like how do you top that, man? Like
that's a tough one.
That's gonna be a tough one. That one outright crack up. Like, that
was really funny. I don't know how you top that. I mean,
I like the one where he was at the airport and he said he was hanging out with Tim Robbins, and Tim Robbins, and Tim Robbins like, dude, I disagree. I don't even know you. Like,
Yeah.
they're best friends. But that's
Yeah.
about the RFK events and stuff. That
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe you are friends with. Maybe you should be friends with Nick.
Right. Yeah. It is weird. It's almost like that Mother Night type of deal where like, are you pretending to be? I mean, it is. Is there's? I mean, you can kind of really go think
Yeah.
about it in a lot of different ways. So
So
anyway.
real quick,
Yeah.
before we wrap this up, I did see, like I guess Robert Kennedy, who's a really bizarre candidate, I guess running in the Democratic primary, even though
Sure. Yeah.
he's to the right of Biden on almost everything and is propped up by right wingers and propped up
Yep.
by it's really
Bankrolled by right
strange.
wingers. Yeah.
But like a lot of celebrities have gone to his stuff. Like there was a photo of him with Pierce Bronson. I was like,
Oh.
the fuck? And I was like, okay, is Robert Kennedy like the new Scientology or something?
Oh, could
Like
be.
Woody
Yeah.
Allen. He had Woody Allen, not Woody
Yeah.
Harrelson, not Woody Allen.
Okay.
Harrelson was at it. There was a couple other famous people. The Fudge Rounds guy, I told you he was there.
Right. Right.
But like, I'm like, what the fuck are these people thinking? And I'm like,
Yeah.
is this like Scientology or something?
Could be. You know. I don't know. That's weird. That is the celebrity angle is weird.
I remember that Pierce Bronson thing. So people were like, you know what? I'm actually like really disappointed in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that because like Woody Harrelson, I'm not shocked. His politics are all over the place. That doesn't.
Yeah. You know, I will admit it took me when you said Pierce Brosnan, I initially in my head thought of cousin Balky. Not what was his name? Brosnan Pinchot or
Bronson Pinchot, yeah.
Yeah.
But we lost him. I'd be like, I think we'll be
and
fine.
I was like, oh, that sucks. And then you said, then I'm like, oh no, he means James Bond. And I was like, that still sucks, but I mean, I could more see that. Like,
I like retweeted the photo, but it wouldn't work. You ever like try to post a GIF on Twitter and it takes forever to load, and you end up having it was the GIF of him getting hit in the head by it's from Mrs. Doubtfire when Robin Williams throws something at his head. And I like posted that. I wanted to post that photo. Like, yeah, dude, someone needs to like hit him in the head or something to wake him up. He needs to be smacked. Like,
yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Really disappointed in Cheryl Hines, the ex-wife of Larry David, the fictional ex-wife of Larry David.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why. I never expected anything from her. But,
I mean, yeah, but I didn't expect that. I mean,
well, she's married to him.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, you know what? Good luck on his grift. It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to go anywhere. And the joke is that he'll probably end up hurting the Republicans more than he would Democrats.
I think so. I can't imagine anyone even peripherally aware of the issues would vote for this guy.
I think he would get, if Trump is not the nominee, I think he would get the Trump voters to come out and vote for him.
That could happen. Honestly, for all I know, I mean, I could see Trump asking him to be his running mate. You know?
Yeah, there was that rumor going around for a while. That was like the scam. They said that like he would use him, but like he sounds like a gargoyle. Like
he does.
All right, I'm gonna let this guy talk now. I hope you don't have any small children around because they're gonna be really scared after he talks.
Yeah, I saw some like magazine expose with him just like a week or two ago, and they got a great photograph of him, a photograph that really brought out the Kennedy comparisons, and I was like, oh fuck, you know. But yeah, I just don't see people voting for him, like Democrats voting for him. Maybe a few like weird ones, but
yeah, I mean, there's always a bunch of weirdos.
There's always like a bunch of like Democrats that vote like, you know, for some weird party that you've never heard of, and there's usually some reason as to why, but he's not going to get the core Democratic votes that normally carry an election.
I think he's more of a threat to a Republican than a Democrat.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, again, just in case you guys know.
Oh yeah.
That next week, which is October 4th, either we're gonna have a conversation about what's going on in the world, or we're just going to be talking about just saying the word brains over and over again, because the government and FEMA has all the power in the world.
Got to tune in to find out, though.
They're going to hit this. Yeah, only way to find out if we're all turned to zombies or not is to watch YSGOAT.
Right.
That's just a simple truth.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
It's something they were like, when COVID was made in that lab and they leaked it, like, because that's what happened. The government was like, this is an opportunity. Get FEMA on the phone. We're going to send the emergency signal. Everyone's going to be turned into a zombie.
Right. Because
only
that
pure bloods who've never ingested anything weird or anything. I love that. You ever hear them call themselves pure blood?
Yeah.
Anti-vaxxers?
God. Yeah. Yeah. There's supposed to be like
brackish water.
There's supposed to be dating sites where people can seek out like other unvaccinated people so they can make particularly susceptible children. Yeah,
like very sickly children with very low immune,
like wiped out by the common cold, like
immune compromised children.
Right.
Well, I guess the pure bloods will inherit the earth.
Yeah,
we'll just all be turned into FEMA zombies or something.
Yeah, Fiembies.
Fiembies. Next on The Walking Dead.
Right.
All right. On that note, then, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.